Warning. It is the opinion of the Forestry Productions LLC and the Working Perspectives podcast that we should inform you that some of the language used in this recording could possibly be considered offensive. You have been warned, so if you decide to listen to the recording, then don't complain about the language. Hi, hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk to some real people about some real things, living real lives, doing real stuff. This is the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied today by jdub, Justin Richardson, the terrific Tom Lavelle, and our guest today is the Mangler, Mike Johnson. You can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can hang us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast, and you can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com, and please just like and subscribe so my life stops kicking me in the ass every time I try to do this show. jdub, you ready to get this thing started?
Yeah.
Very good. Glad to hear. Tom, you ready to knock this thing out?
See.
Very nice for our Spanish-speaking audience. All right, well, let's get this thing started. Let's go.
It's our objective to be effective by voicing societies. Working perspective, exploring your day and how you get paid. Launching a new episode every Tuesday. Your day can transform while we inform with new episodes available on every platform. So check out our vibe and how we get live. Then do us a solid. Share and subscribe. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. We're just sharing. Working perspectives.
All right, so let me tell you a little something about our guest today, Mike Johnson. So this is, we've talked about this place on the show. At this point, we would have had a Henzo Gracie roundtable on the show as well. Very big fan of this place. You meet a lot of great people there. It's a great culture, and it's just you meet some of the best people you ever run into at this place. So I'm there, I'm training one night, and we've talked about this on the show before where I brought it up with I think Josh Lawler and Don Lyons and maybe even Chad Killefner, where before I even really talked to the guy, we had punched each other, right? And so it's the same thing with our guest tonight, Mike Johnson. So it was a Muay Thai session one night, and they do sparring. They used I guess they still do it, sparring on Thursdays, right? So everyone's going, we're sparring, we're doing our thing, and me and Mike are going together, right? And it's our first time. So it's a real feeling out process at first, but then you have your stuff and you get in. So I'm staying in tight with Mike during the sparring, and we're going, and then all of a sudden he throws this fucking uppercut that's just puts me I remember just being God damn it. You know what I mean? And I'm son of a bitch. I was what's this guy's name again? And so then eventually, right, we would spar again. And I just remember one of the few, the next time we would spar, he would try to keep it tight and on banging close. And I was just not happening. Right. He would do this thing where I would engage and then engage and disengage. Right. And then he does this thing where he'll engage, but then he steps back and goes back to the center of the ring and kind of stands there what are you doing? Let's come on. And I'm no fucking way. No fucking way. We've already been down this road. I'm not doing this again. Right. I was you can fool the jabrones with that, but I'm not getting that fucking uppercut to knock me sideways again. You know what I mean?
It sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
In theory.
You learned that lesson once, buddy. Well, let me tell you.
Uppercut me once.
Shame on you. Yeah. So, but then, after that, I feel you get respect, it's kind of an unspoken respect you have for certain people when you go and like when you spar and like when you exchange blows and things like that, where you kind of just have a rapport. I would see him in passing, always say hi and stuff like that. But then when I found out he was interested in the show and liked the show and wanted to be a guest on the show, I was just tickled pink and really, really happy we could get him on. He's had a very interesting life. This is going to be one of the crazier stories we're going to get into. A lot to unravel here. So, this is going to be a short B-block. So I want to get right into it just because we have so much to talk about. So, Mike, I just want to thank you for being on the show. And before we get started, I would just like to ask, how do you like your Cheetos? Crunchy or puffed?
I don't really eat Cheetos. I don't know. Question.
Crunchy?
I try to stay away from the snacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could tell you're a fucking Adonis. You know what I'm saying?
That was a guaranteed crunchy Cheeto.
Yeah.
No doubt. No puff on those Cheetos.
No.
Yeah.
Henzer
more crunch, right to the point. You know?
Yeah, of course. Henzer Gracie's batting 1,000 on the.
You heard that,
jdub?
Still so crunchy. Far, the only puff boy.
Yeah. Well, as of this air date, there's been one.
There's been one.
Yeah, as of
I know how to pick them.
You're a puff pass guy, huh?
Yeah. Oh, he's a big puffer.
Dude, cheese balls in the tin. We don't have to do this every time. I don't have to defend myself. I'm a puff boy.
I'm not upset with a crunchy lifestyle. A cheese ball is different.
Sure.
That is my principle of picking puff over crunchy. Is the ball being in existence.
So you're a ball guy.
I'm a ball guy. I'm a puff ball guy. If we're gonna get down to it.
Sure is.
Okay.
So nice. So Mike, thanks for coming on, man. How you doing, brother?
Doing all right. Had a pretty rough day. I'm not gonna lie. I was not feeling like doing this. I was getting in this. I was like, I had shitty. I just had a shitty day. Life of the business owner, chasing money.
Yeah.
What happened?
Just contractors not paying me, man.
Yeah.
Big commercial contractors.
It's
always what's that guy?
Are you take care of them? You want me to go there?
Take care
of them?
But I'm
I
saying
used to do that. Trust me.
Well, like that.
I told one contractor came and the next time I came in there in the office with people with a bat, and the vice president shut the door. He says, oh my God, how bad is it? This is right when Corona hit. They owed me $465,000, and they were like, stop taking calls, this, that, and the other. So I went down to Camden. They're up on the 5th floor. I'm not going to mention their name, and I go into the office and the girls in there. I'm like, hi, so and so here, and they're like, no. And I see in the office that the vice president's there, so I kind of sneak over to his office. I'm like, hey, so hey, what's going on? He's like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? He's like, just trying to diffuse me, I guess, because I was pretty heated. And he's like, what's going on? I was like, you tell me. I'm looking to get paid. I was like, you guys owe me X amount of dollars. Nobody's taking my phone calls. Nobody's returning emails. They got the pandemic happen. I paid my bills. You guys ain't paying yours. You owe me almost $500,000. I said, listen, I'm going to tell you right now. Next time you see me, I'm going to be carrying a baseball bat. And he was like, hey, close the door. He was like, how bad is it? What do they owe you? I said, what's the day? What do you mean day? Hey, you the day, bro. So
it's not
like,
me.
Well, the owners. I'm like, you're the vice president. How much closer to the top can I get?
Yeah.
So long story short, they ended up paying.
Nobody got it. When someone owes you money, owes you money, it's always difficult because it's like you want to get paid. You know what I mean? And it's like,
oh, trust me, I know.
And so the one time this dude owed me fucking money.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen him, and then I heard he was somewhere. And so I went to the place where he's at, and I walked up and I fucking smacked him right across the face because I was so mad. I was so angry that like he had owed me money. Now, he didn't owe me $465,000.
It gets so crazy up there. And those guys, they all got, they got bigger lawyers and deeper pockets than I got,
right. You're the little guy.
So, I mean,
you're in quote unquote.
I'm a like in terms
Mom and pop
contractors. I'm a large contractor per se, but like not in the commercial world. In the commercial world, it's a whole nother ball game.
They're famous
huge,
for in the
huge.
commercial world setting up smaller businesses, taking on contractor work, and then just closing that smaller business and not paying out the contractors.
Shut the fuck up.
Because then you, as a smaller guy, have to get lawyers, fight litigation, sue this company that no longer exists to get paid on the work that you did. And it's harder. It's going to end up costing you and harder for you to get that money through that small
here's the
shitty
deal.
company.
You always get paid because the owner hires the general who hires us. I'm the carpentry subcontractor, so the owner ultimately owes us the money. And we have contractual agreements that honor that. But it's the amount of time that they drag you through the mud.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm not on your job anymore. I'm on these guys' job, and I'm still paying payroll without this money coming in.
Mhm.
So I'm paying for the next job to accrue money, and I'm still waiting to be paid. And I might not never, I'll always get paid. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
So it's that in between there. The money's going out weekly, and that other money's coming in 40, 60, 90 days.
Yeah.
So do you have to constantly have a stock, like, I gotta wait to get paid, so I have to have
like a
this-
rainy
No,
day
I-
kind of stash.
I gotta
It's
have
called a
this
line
nut.
of credit.
Dude, well, we had we've had let's just say an electrician friend of mine. He's a union guy, and he said
Okay.
I know you work in the union, right? Or you
What was that? What'd you say?
One of my buddies, the union electrician, he's from the area, so I didn't know if that's who he was talking about.
No, it's not Taggart. I know Taggart. Well, I don't know him, but I know who you're talking about.
They're great guys.
Yeah. But my buddy said, like, the union, if they're not getting paid, one, they'll and I'm sure you've done this too, where it's just like, well, fuck you, we're leaving. And then also, like, they'll get the owners and be like, hey, we need you to meet with a union official around the corner, and it's a bunch of guys with fucking 2x4s ready to go to work, kind of thing. Like, that's like there is that type of reputation that the unions have. And I know, like, you're in a union or you work with a union.
Yeah.
And
I'm a union contractor, and I used to be a union carpenter.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know all about it. Like, but I used to tell some old guy that used to work for me. He would say, you better watch it, man. They'll call it goons. I said, I am the goon.
I fucking love that.
You're the goon.
Like, who do you think they call?
So then the big thing, like, in Phil, like, so I got a lot of friends in East Falls, and so I guess Joey Doc got locked up. I mean, did you know stuff about that? So, like, like, at some point you're getting fucked over so much, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta wait, you're getting dragged through, like, wait, and like at some point I kind of
don't care though, bro. I mean, if you really want to hear the truth of it, the union, I pay the union, so I'm the contractor. I pay the union.
Yeah.
I get paid by the contractor, by the general contractor, right?
Yeah.
They pay me. I pay all my employees union benefits, their benefit back, and then I pay their wages to them directly. So the union just wants me to remit the payroll and pay the bennies so that they got their money. That's all they care about. And they're willing to help me get contractors and get jobs and all that stuff, because if I get jobs, that means I'm paying them.
Yeah.
I'm going to put their guys to work, and then I'll remit the payroll, which means that they'll get more pennies to hold for 30 years and make interest on.
I guess my point is I empathize. Like, you hear they were doing this, they're doing that. I was like, yeah, well, they're trying to get fucking paid, dude. Or they're trying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's they're such terrible guys. It's like, well, what about the guys that are fucking them over?
Yeah.
You know,
Agreed. Like, these guys got families
that's a
to feed. Yeah.
That's a huge deal, man. That's a huge deal. But usually what they're referring to are guys like me.
Yeah.
Because what happens if I'm not getting paid, who am I going to screw?
Yeah.
The union and the guys.
Yeah.
I mean, lay them off, let them go get another job. But meanwhile, they're still behind money in their bennies and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So then they're coming at me,
Yeah. But
Luckily,
that's
I've been fortunate not to have to do it.
But there, like, this has been going on since, like, since contracting began. Like, isn't there like a law or something against, like, how long they can withhold paying you? Right?
I have literally looked into all that stuff. Like, man, we've got to come up with a union for the union, man. Like, like, there's, I've ever since I started, because I was the youngest union signatory carpentry contractor in the history of Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
So that's a tongue twister. But yeah, I was 29 when I became a union contractor versus a carpenter, right? Owner operator. And you know, everybody else, like you said, they're all established. They got a big nest egg. They got, you know, I'm breaking into this world and I'm getting screwed left and right.
Yeah.
This is back in 2015. I'm getting screwed left and right. And I'm just like, there's gotta be, I mean, I wrecked my head for 2 years about this. Like, there's gotta be a way that we can all get together and like, change. But you know what it is? It's a rat race. And the contractor goes, hey, Mike, give me a price. $10. Okay. Yo, Joey, you give me a price. $9. Okay. Mike, you're out. Okay. Or Mike, take the job. We give Mike the job. Mike's making too many waves for us. Cut up his contract, cut him loose. And somebody else is waiting in the wings like, ooh, I'll take a spot. Ooh, I'll take a spot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And somebody that doesn't mind waiting for the money and says, yeah, I know I'll get paid eventually. Yeah. And they have the cash to float.
Yeah. Damn, man.
They'd rather do the work and just wait for the money.
So how much stress is that adding to your life, man? Crazy amounts, huh?
Oh, bro.
Is that why you got into the, I mean, did you wrestle in high school?
Well, hold on. Let's do this, right? Let's start from the beginning. So
is that why you're in the MMA?
Well, we'll talk about some of that. So Mike here will say he's the president of Blue Collar Builders and Top Peak Roofing, right? And we'll have links to both of those in the description of this episode. Highly suggest checking them out if you're in the, you know, if you have need for any of that. Really great stuff. One of his co-workers was a former guest of the show, friend of the show, Eric Zeblum, right?
So friend of the show, listener of the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's get it started from the beginning. So Mike here was born and raised in beautiful Camden, New Jersey, and grew up in Pennsauken. I mean, just talk about the best places to go. Just a high tourist area. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Pennsauken, I've heard of 100 times. I could not tell you where the fuck Pennsauken.
It's right over the bridge, isn't it?
Betsy Ross, man. Betsy Ross Bridge.
It's right on the
over
other side.
The Betsy Ross Bridge.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's right on the other side. It's just like like if you
Between
went over
Betsy Ross and Tacony Palmyra.
Exactly. Like if you go over the Tacony Palmyra Bridge, you're right in Palmyra, right? If you go over the Betsy Ross, you're right in Pennsauken, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought.
How long did you live? How long were you there till?
So I was 14. Just till high school.
Yeah. Just a little rough paper route. But
rough paper route, bud.
So you but when you were going to school, right, you did a Christian academy and you're doing Christian academies in Pennsauken. Was the reason because like the public school systems were just that shit, or like what was going on?
I mean, my parents, you know, they're Christian folks and stuff like that. So we went to church and all that stuff. And yes, my parents went to Pennsauken and Camden Catholic. So they were like, yeah, we're not raising our kids to go and this shit. So, you know, they started putting us in these Christian academies. It's not quite Catholic, but it's a private school still.
Yeah.
A lot smaller than Catholic school.
That's big, dude. Yeah. Honestly, the PCL, like the Philadelphia Catholic League, is 100% the same thing. If you can afford to not send your kid to public school in the city, you're sending them to a fucking Catholic school. You know what I mean? Just because like the public school systems are that bad. And a lot of times they're not even fucking Catholic. They're just like, you know, if we didn't get into Friends or Friends Select or whatever, then we're, you know, it's kind of up shit's creek. So you're in the same way, like, you know, your parents spiritual did your whole thing, but they wanted to, you know, not get you, you know, the paper route was rough enough. They didn't want to make it rougher. So
exactly.
So
you grew up in that neighborhood and you went to Catholic school. How
Christian academy.
Like you had to have or Christian academy. You had to have neighborhood for like what was the neighborhood like?
Oh yeah. We had neighborhood friends and just normal stuff. Guys playing on the block, and you know, I mean, we lived on it's a block system, just like living in the Northeast kind of.
Yeah. But so I mean, was the neighborhood all right? Was it? Oh, it's like Northeast.
Our neighborhood, it was. You know what's funny is when you grow up there, you think everything's fine.
Yeah, you think it's normal.
Now, and I took you guys in. Yes. You're like, what? This isn't fine. You know what I mean? Like,
so true.
This is not okay.
Growing up, you're like, you're like, oh, this is just. It was like, you don't even know. You don't know.
Everything, right?
Yeah.
You know, and no matter what you're doing or where you're living, you just get used to.
No matter what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People in Africa are like,
So
whatever,
looking
you-
back on it now, what
Yeah,
do you think of the neighborhood that you grew? Like, how was
I
it?
would.
man?
I got 2 daughters, and I'm not taking them there. You
Yeah.
know? We drive. We
Okay.
drive through there. I've taken
Yeah.
them down there, check them out. I'm like, hey, this is the house we grew up when I was your age. You know? Blah,
Yeah.
blah,
Now
blah.
look
They're
at
like,
your house.
Yeah. Hey, well, how about I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna drop you off on this end of the block, and I'll meet you down the other end.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, we're good. We're good. We've seen enough. Get out of here, Dad.
That's got to make them appreciate a little bit, huh?
Sure.
I wish.
Yeah.
It's these
Yeah.
days, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
yeah.
old are your
22,
daughters?
man. 17 and 14.
Oh,
You have
We're
a
get-
17-year-old?
oh Jesus, dude.
Well, we're getting a little ahead of
Yeah,
ourselves.
sorry.
We're
I'm
getting
sorry,
a little
go
ahead
ahead.
of
It looks like
ourselves.
a young man.
So Mike here, he was, going to Christian Academy and he was in Pennsauken, but his big sports growing up were, and this was fascinating because we had Josh Lawler was when he was on the show, he had done the same thing where motocross, big into motocross and like snowboarding and those extreme types of sports. But dude, I'll tell you, man, that's one thing. Like honestly, if I did it, I'd probably be shitting my pants. But it was always so fucking cool, like seeing the dirt bikes and all that stuff. But like, dude, from what Josh was saying, at least, it's a ton of travel. It's so much money and a ton of work on the equipment and like being able to move all that stuff and just like it's such like it's a lot. But you were really really into motocross and that on like would eventually like would take you down another path. But tell us a little bit about like what did you love about it? And like I know you still ride bikes now, but like as a kid, did you like the danger? Did you like the excitement? Like what did you think?
Man. Like, well, we grew up. Well, like I said, but talking about my old man would take us to like the Pine Barrens and stuff like that, and we would do, camping over the weekend and stuff like that, meeting up with all the boys and doing free riding and stuff like that. And then
Yeah.
I got real into it as I got into my teens and stuff like that. Once I moved to PA and had more people to ride with and more, I got more into racing. I started breaking bones, the whole nine.
Yeah.
How many bones you break?
Nah, all of them pretty much. I've broken, let's see, my big toe, both shin bones, my so tibia and fibia, right? And then my right clavicle once in 2 places, my left clavicle twice, my right shoulder blade, my nose 4 times, my L4 and my lower back.
I mean, Mike, we
that
don't
was
have all day
fucking-
here, pal. Jesus
Dude,
Christ.
do you care about your body? What
Oh my
the
God.
fuck? One break, I'm done.
How much of you is made of metal? Huh? Like
Yeah, none actually. It's all
Yeah. Dude,
Mike,
the
Sheeble
calcified.
Knievel.
the shin bones had to be
Holy
Well,
fucking
I was between.
All
I
of
was just
those,
between,
I've never broke any of those.
yeah, not yet.
Lucky
What were
you.
you gonna
Not
say, Justin?
let's say
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
those
not
nose
more.
brakes are handlebars, right?
Yeah.
Hitting the
most of them
handlebars,
actually
no?
were.
Dynamite drop in. Nice. No. So no,
So
dude.
wait, hold up. When you break all those bones in your body, now are you just like, fuck it? Like you've been through it, you know
Well,
what it's
I'll tell
like,
you
or
what,
you're like,
this-
fuck
my-
this,
This is
I
what my
can deal
dad
with.
said. My dad used to tell me all the time when I was growing up. He'd say, "It's not if, it's when. Then we'll see how much you love the sport."
Oh, that's fucking great. Not if, it's when, and then we'll see how much you really like the sport after you're fucking breaking your shin bones. That's
Was-
fucking true. That is so fucking true.
Was he into the same stuff? Is that how you got into it?
I mean, he still rides. He still has a dirt bike. Actually, my dad's 65 has a Harley, a crotch rocket, an R1, and a dirt bike. He's a
An
nut job.
R1. Hell yeah.
Got an R1. He's wild.
But so was he? How did like? Is that how you got into it? He's like, I
yeah,
want you to
yeah,
try
yeah. We were
this.
always a motorcycle family, man. So like, I just grew up, knew my dad was into Harleys back in the 70s and whatnot. And like, he would tell us stories when we were kids about dirt bikes and stuff. And I was like, dude, we'd watch it on TV, channel
Yeah.
369, one of
Yeah.
the 6
Yeah.
channels we had,
Yeah.
No cable
was
at the
a
house. No
369.
cable.
Now cable growing up.
Wow.
Never,
Yeah.
we were outside kids, man.
Yeah.
Breaking
in the
bones.
neighborhood. BMXing and motocrossing. That
Did
was
you
it. If
build?
were-
Did you have like a spot where you built your own like bike jumps in like the
Oh,
woods?
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'd hang out there. It was by the train tracks. All the high school kids would come after school. They would
They're
always
smoking
somebody
cigarettes.
getting jumped. smoking cigarettes, rolling joints. Somebody
Yeah.
was getting jump stomped, and you were like, "Damn, I don't want to be over there with those guys."
Yeah.
You know, I was always the younger one of the group. You know,
Yeah.
so.
But were you the crazy one? Like, there's always.
I mean, I was like quiet because I didn't go to school with all these kids, right?
Oh,
So
I
was in-
see. Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm quiet. I don't want to disturb nobody. I'm not,
Yeah.
you know.
But you were
I
like,
wasn't fighting MMA at the time, you know.
But they would
You
see
know.
you like you like.
And you're
a lot-
younger.
I'll tell you
I was
this.
young. I was a skinny little kid, you know.
Yeah, but when you're-
So were
sheltered.
you younger than those guys?
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
was always a couple,
So
3
that's
years
not
younger
really-
than everybody.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you're at
And
the
then-
bike jumps, though, right? Like, there's like different types. There's the guys that are just there hanging out. Then there's the guys that's there that are all fucking talk. Like, you know what I mean? Saying like,
Oh,
oh
no,
man,
it's
I
like me.
fucking if my fucking, you know. But then there's guys like you that are fucking nut jobs that are fucking going off 100 times and flying into trees. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh, you know, we were there. I was part of the group of guys that are building the jumps. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so you always had that group of guys. No matter where I was, so even when I moved to PA, we had the same situation. I don't know if you guys remember behind Freddie Hill.
Yeah.
Remember that? You guys?
I know where Freddie Hill
Part of that?
is.
Wait, there
you
was
know,
jumps
you remember
behind
the BMX
Freddie Hill?
jumps behind?
No,
Freddie
I
Hill?
never went to jumps
No,
behind
we
Freddie Hill,
had
no.
we had our jumps were by North Penn Hospital, the Coca-Cola jumps and N-Dub, and then
Ours
there
were
was-
like through the woods. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
like big
Where the
jumps.
big
They were
power
like
lines
2
were.
foot high.
I don't
at
know.
the most.
The Coca-Cola jumps were fucking
They were-
terrifying. I
Yeah.
wasn't doing
Wait,
it.
where's that? Where's the Coca-Cola?
The old
stuff?
Coca-Cola factory.
Where's that?
It was
It's
in
like-
North
it's-
Wales.
It's back like near where the Merck building is, and
Yeah.
like it's
not
in
there
a corner
anymore.
pocket, but it's
Ah,
just a big tabletop. It was like
Oh.
it was
Okay. I was
we
gonna
used
say
to
there's
steal
there's a
barrels.
bunch of them over in Hatfield too, like back
Yeah.
by Wedgwood.
Yeah. Well, Wedgwood had a ton by the
Yeah,
baseball
like
fields
good.
on Moyer
Yeah.
Road. Oh yeah, they had a whole
Yeah.
they had a whole course back there.
Yeah.
I think it was
Wedgwood
dog
fucking
in.
nuts. Oh yeah.
That was like that was a bunch of my boys back here making those. But
Oh,
you know, there's
really?
always a group of guys that are there's always a bunch of group of guys that are making the jumps. They're usually the ones that are hitting them.
yeah.
And then you got everybody else to pass, or like you said, they come in. They weren't part of it. They weren't like, you know, build it up, spend all summer to make it for the last 2 weeks.
yeah,
that you guys
yeah.
are hitting it. You know what I mean? You're
They're the
trying them out in
dickheads that are
between.
ruining it. Yeah.
Yeah. They're the ones that are like, oh, this is too big. We don't want to do it, knock it down. You know, you're like, "Ah."
Nice. So okay,
Wow.
so you're growing up in Pennsauken, you're doing all that. Then you would eventually move to PA. How old were you?
My
When you
dad
moved?
works for Merck.
Okay.
So my mom worked in the city. My dad worked for Merck.
How
so
old were
we,
you when
uh,
you
we-
moved here?
14.
14. Okay, so like
Where's
10th
your mom
grade?
work?
Ninth grade. I was going into ninth grade.
Okay.
Where's your mom work?
She
the
was
city.
working for Liberty too
Yeah.
in the city.
We don't have
So
to
she
say
was
it.
working for like
yeah.
an insurance company or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
She was,
okay, yeah. So but like you moved to PA, then you started going to
Yeah.
Christian school there, but you wouldn't finish the Christian school. Something would happen. Would you let us? How did it go? 'Cause I'll tell you-
I guess normal shit. Like you had said, they asked me not to come back. Or like it was too strict.
I got
too
that
wild,
before.
I'm too wild.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were
yeah.
just like, hey, listen, maybe you should try something else out. I wanted to go to public school anyway.
Same.
Funny
What was
part
the
is,
name
is
of
I
the
did nothing but
Christian
IS.
It was the one right in
it-
front of North Penn, whatever
yeah,
that's
Calvary.
called.
I know a kid that went there. Small
Me.
school. Really
Yeah.
small
Yeah,
school.
Very small.
What-
I mean, my whole life, I had 20 kids in my whole grade.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like 20 kids in,
Well,
in the
that's like
entire
North
grade,
Penn,
all
right?
growing up.
Yeah.
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 So I went to North Penn. So I move up to PA. I'm in this Christian Academy, whatever. They've got dress codes out the wazoo. I mean, you got to wear
Yeah.
a button up shirt. You can't
Yeah.
wear ankle socks. You get yelled at for everything. I'm
Yeah.
trying, I'm 14, 15. I'm into girls now. I'm looking at,
Yeah.
I'm going to try smoking pot, a cigarette, all this stuff. Everything's getting shot down. Everything I do, they're just like, yeah, he's the bad apple, And so finally they're like, yep, get him out of here, whatever. I go over to North Penn, and North Penn's like, no problem.
Yeah,
I'm
smoke
like,
pot
dude,
right
I-
here.
Yeah.
We have elevators.
You want pills, too?
Yeah, what do you want? We got it all.
yeah.
Yeah, but no, I didn't have any problems whatsoever. Although I did in my junior year, I missed like half my year because of being in a wheelchair.
From
And,
is that when you broke your
from
shin
breaking my
bones?
back? Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
your
but-
back.
I
Fuck.
broke my shin bones.
Is this
My shin
motocross?
bones.
Was this
Yeah,
all?
all motocross.
This was all motocross.
My-
Okay.
I
Yeah,
quit.
so my-
I quit motocross because of what you did. I quit because of what you're telling me right now. I would never do motocross.
I didn't even start. I already done.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
quit.
yeah. Go ahead, Mike. So yeah, what did happen?
My shin bones, my lower back, my right shoulder blade, and my right collarbone all at the same time.
A one fall.
So yeah, like they were across both sides of my body. So it's my
Oh,
left leg and my right, shoulder area.
were you
and then my
like?
lower
Did you
back.
pass out from the pain like when it happened?
No, I didn't. I honestly, I didn't even know. I was it was a big jump. Blah blah blah.
Didn't know.
I went down during the race. It was during the race up at Evansville Raceway. And I went down. I got knocked out. I woke up on the ground down at the bottom of this big downhill, and I could hear the bikes and stuff. And I was, in my helmet and stuff. Next thing you know, they put me onto a stretcher, and I was all warm and fuzzy. It was my first real time breaking anything, and I broke everything.
Oh,
Right. And
When you go big.
yeah, man.
Jesus.
And when they went to move me, I just remembered all the endorphins and all the, everything. You're all warm and fuzzy.
Is it like you're high?
And
Like, is it like
yeah, it's like being high. You know what I mean? It's like being extreme because you got adrenaline and endorphins, all this stuff going on, right? And then they move you, and you're like, whoa,
Oh, fuck.
like everything. You could feel the bones shifting and everything, and you're like, oh, this ain't right. So they put you on a flat.
is it a
gurney or
painful
whatever.
feeling, or is it like
Very, very
stuff
sharp,
is
very sharp.
off? Okay. I didn't know if you're still
Yeah, because you
euphoric
feel it.
and you feel like something's off.
Yeah, but like it's like extreme pain, especially if anybody that's broken collarbones will know that they're just very.
They say it's
sharp.
more painful than a gunshot wound.
Yeah, it's just that the collarbones for whatever reason are so painful. They're just sharp pain. I don't know if there's a lot of nerves running through there or what the deal is,
Jesus.
Right
but
near your neck,
or
I
it's just
guess.
thin
Yeah.
skin. But it is
Yeesh.
just. I mean, I've had three. This one twice separately, and then this one in two places, and it just every time it's very painful. And so they put you on, and they take me to the hospital, and I'm going. I remember I'm talking to my dad. Am I gonna die, man?
Oh yeah.
And they're cut. They got to cut off all everything.
What was your dad
get
saying?
He's laughing. He's broken a million things too. growing up.
Uh-huh.
He was like, yeah, you're gonna be fine. My dad was a brute, man. He's
Yeah.
like,
I would.
you know,
I like, to me as a dad, that would be the most heartbreaking thing ever to see.
Oh, that would.
I mean, I
Because you
agree,
legit
girl.
was
If I had a
ragdolled.
son, I'd be
right?
like, get up, you're fine. You know?
Yeah, but you were
Yeah.
legit like you were ragdolled, right? Like you must have been.
Oh
fucking
yeah, I mean,
all over.
I essentially what happened was I hit a big jump. It was going to a downhill, and I landed. And at the bottom of the downhill, it's a big downhill. At the bottom of the downhill, there was a hairpin turn. So as everybody's jumping through the air, they land with the gas on. They immediately lock up the brakes, and the skipping of your tire as you come into the turn creates these things called braking bumps. And throughout the day, having all the different heats of all the different people, everything going, the braking bumps get deeper and deeper and deeper. And I just must have got it on the brakes right as I was getting up on the gas tank to get ready for the turn. And I must have grabbed a little handful of front brake at the same time, and it just catapulted me straight down to the ground. I mean, like in the road. Boom.
Oh. And you were going, how fast do you think you were going? Like 50, 40?
Yeah, it's something like, I mean, obviously,
But dude, like,
motocross,
so-
we don't have.
But it was like, it was a dead, it's like you hit a wall and then just went straight down.
Yeah,
And it fucking
essentially, I was-
planted you in the ground.
Yeah, exactly. So you land on a downhill, and then you grab a handful of front brakes, and literally with it skipping, and then grabbing a handful of front brakes, it just flipped over, and I just smacked into the.
It caught
Straight
and it
in.
just snapped over. Oh,
God
Yep.
bless you, man.
And I mean,
Jesus.
like, I don't remember any of it. I mean, I just like woof, broke up like.
Yeah, you're like, what's
know?
why is everything not
Yeah.
sticking together?
And then
Yeah.
everything's hurting. Everything's hurting. They're getting me in an ambulance, cutting stuff
Yeah.
off me. It's wild. So anyway, so that was my. So I spent 8 weeks in a
wheelchair.
recliner, not
Oh.
moving and bedridden and whatnot, having
Oof.
to plan out my pisses.
Yeah.
It'd take 30 minutes to get from here to the bathroom 10 feet away. So
bro.
and then I
Plus,
was in a
then you had
wheelchair for,
rehab
like,
after that, right? Too. Of like,
rehab and wheelchair, and my junior year was pretty much shot. in high
Yeah,
school,
yeah, you're
so-
not getting a lot of pussy with a bunch of leg casts on.
yeah.
Yeah. It's tough enough as it is. Try not having to,
Yeah.
fucking yeah. So all right, so well, let's keep it moving
So,
then.
yeah, so did the motocross thing, and then I ended up taking a year off, and from high school, and once I graduated, took a year off, trying to figure out what I'm doing. I wanted to go for engineering, but of course I was obsessed with motocross, so I couldn't be like,
Yeah,
I was like, I literally remember saying to my dad, "Where am I going to put my dirt bike? I can't, in a dorm, I want to race, keep racing." So it was like, well, you got to do something, I was a pretty smart kid.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, what do you want to do? And so one of my buddies was like, let's go down to Florida. And
Okay.
he was a year behind me. He was 04. So I
Oh.
was like, all right, wait till you graduate and we'll go move to Florida.
Well, what's
and
his
we'll-
name?
Joey Gerhardt.
Joe
Oh
Gerhardt.
shit, I know him.
Oh, God,
I grew up with him. Colin Lady?
Yeah, that's who I was racing against.
That's
in
who I
that
used
race that
to.
crashed.
I used to ride his dirt bike every other weekend. I know his little brother. I know his sister. There's
I know
jumps
both.
back behind the power lines where that creek splits. I
Yeah.
helped him dig those one jumps. We stole barrels from the Philadelphia Inquirer and drug them all the way back to his fucking house back there.
Nice. Yeah, I was racing him that
I
day.
love
He was-
Joey, yo. He's a good kid.
Wait,
yo.
wait,
No,
you
no,
were
not Joey. Colin. I was
you were
racing
racing
Colin.
him the
No,
day
but-
you fucking broke everything?
Oh, he was there. Oh, his mom was there. My
Damn.
parents were there.
I know his mom. Yo, Colin Lady's mom was one of the nicest ladies ever.
Ah, she's great.
I loved her. Yo.
Right.
She was so
Yeah.
nice.
Damn.
Fuck, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I haven't seen him in so long, yo.
I got
Yeah.
the name sounds familiar. I guess I'd have to see.
They were
what-
both in my grade, Gerhardt and Colin.
Hey, man.
Huh.
But I was over Colin's
Uh,
house every weekend when I was a kid, like real young.
Yeah.
I
So
was like 15, and then he was racing
Yeah.
every weekend, and I stopped seeing him.
Yeah, he was there with me. Colin and Joey were inseparable in high school.
Yeah.
Or
you
as a
become
senior,
pretty tight with because you guys are together all the time at motocross.
well,
you
because
guys-
how many
form a
people
bond.
do that sport? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
it's
Wrestling's
like,
like that
hey,
too.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We would go up to Jack Frost had some tracks up there. We go
Yeah.
up there during the week. We take our bikes to school.
Yeah.
We'd leave school, go right, up
Yeah.
to Jack Frost and ride. And
Dude,
stuff
I
like that.
think I remember seeing that. You'd have your bike strapped in the back of the pickup truck,
Uh-huh.
ready to go. Fuck. I
Uh-huh.
think I remember seeing that. Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Your chicks fucking dug the fucking bikes.
I was
though,
gonna say,
right?
what's the
Like,
girl scene with motocross?
Well,
Is it
Tom,
good?
so we were talking, yeah, it's tough for him. So in his junior year, after having the big spill, he's in a wheelchair, a
spill.
bunch of cast and all that stuff. So really tough to, score some snatch when
sympathy puss.
when you got to
Sympathy
plan
puss.
when you got to
Sympathy
plan
puss,
out
yeah,
your
come on.
business. Yeah.
Nothing better
I
than
was
some sympathy
hey,
puss.
listen, I went the other way.
My
I
whole
was
high
a
school
scrawny,
career.
Yeah.
I was like a scrawny goofball of a kid,
Yeah.
in high school. I didn't like start filling in and coming into my way until I was in, later on in life.
Well, let's
There's
get
no
into that.
motocross
then.
groupies.
So-
there? Nothing.
Well, I'm sure. there-
Not
yeah.
for me anyway.
Uh,
But so let's get into that then. So you take a year off after high school, right? And
yeah,
then
so we
you move down. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say so I told Joey, like, hey, he's like, yeah, let's go to this motorcycle mechanics place down in Florida. And I'm
Okay.
like, yeah, okay, well, we'll do that. And the idea was, if we can't be a professional racer, we'll work on bikes because we're all used to working on bikes. Very
Yeah.
mechanical.
Yeah.
You
and
know,
you love it,
Always
right?
had to, yeah, I love it. I've been working on my own bikes and shit like that for years. So, excuse me. So anyhow, we moved down there. We're wrenching on bikes, going to school. And we're working during the day. I'm still being a roofer. It ties into me on a roofing company. So
Yeah.
I was being a roofer. I'm down there. I'm in school at night, working during the day, and I get thrown out of school. So I kinda-
well, there's a
all
couple.
these schools have a problem.
Ah,
let me
you
tell
know, I don't know
yeah,
what it
it's
is
not.
with
Yeah, these
everybody.
fucking schools. But are you cool to elaborate on one of the incidents?
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you got to imagine you're at a mechanic teaching facility, right? So these guys,
That's right.
they-
Because I would imagine it's harder to get kicked out of a mechanic school than it is
You'd
a
think.
Christian school.
yeah,
Like,
but what I'm trying to
do
say,
they have
what I'm
do they have sock dress code
Well,
at mechanic
but no,
school?
but like think about it. It's all
Yeah.
men and bull dykes.
all
and,
men.
and yeah,
and you got is these teachers, and they all think that they're
Hot
you know,
shit.
they all think they're tough shit. Like if they were any good at being a mechanic, that's what they'd be doing. Instead of teaching a bunch of 18 to 20-year-olds how to work on
fucking,
shit,
yeah,
you know
trying
what
to
I mean?
shit on and make themselves feel better. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So they're all on their high horse because of course we're in school because we don't know anything. So it doesn't matter what they say, we got to believe it, right? Because they're
Right.
a teacher,
right.
you know. And you know, luckily, you know, some of us that grew up racing and changing top ends and stuff like that between motors have some, you know, knowledge of
Yeah.
the
I was gonna say you
of the
must have
trade.
had like an equivalent, an experience at that time. You've been
Yeah,
racing
for
since
sure.
you're fucking, 8 years old or whatever.
kid.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So you know, so you're going through anyway. So I start going through all the classes and stuff, and we get to a point where it's the end of like your generic program
Yeah.
before you get into what we call your electives, which is where you're you know, you pick whether you're going to do Harley or you're going to do Suzuki or Honda or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so that it's a testing phase. It's 3 weeks of tests. You test on them. So
What'd you go with?
every
What'd you choose?
well, this is prior. This is the end of the generic
okay.
area.
Yeah,
you know,
you're
so
gonna find
get-
out there wasn't much
So
of
we
a
get
choice.
you know, these guys they're jerk offs, man.
yeah, yeah.
they're-
They're
you know,
busting your balls. to
everybody's
build their ego.
everybody's
Yeah.
a ball buster.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know. Long story short is I get into it with the teacher, and the teacher's being a jerk off to me, and he essentially insinuates like I'm gonna fail you, and
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't. Like I already passed the class. I can leave early. You can all the rules say you can dock me 10 points, but that isn't gonna hurt me. I'm still gonna pass.
Yeah.
And he didn't like that, and he says, "You walk out that door, and I promise you, you won't come back." And I just punched the hole right next to his head, like literally. I mean, we were standing
in the
facing each
wall.
other.
Okay.
into the sheetrock. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and
And you said the next time I see you, I'm gonna be carrying a baseball bat.
a fucking bat. motherfucker.
yeah.
Damn.
Nah.
So wait, what did he do? So
So
he's
they made
standing
me
He
there.
shit his fucking pants. What do you think?
Yeah, he's a
fucking
little
did?
guy, dude. He's like he's
He's all fucking
dude-
this.
How big
This
was
dude, yeah, he's probably like I want to say 5'8", 5'9". He's like 60 years old. This guy's been teaching there for 20 years. Hasn't worked on a bike or flat rate forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, he's just puffing his chest out like,
Yeah.
listen, kid. Yeah, I was 19.
yeah.
So I lost my cool because I was like literally I was so frustrated. Like, what are you gonna do? And somebody's like, listen, I'll make sure you don't come back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm like,
He's
yeah, to me,
he's
you might as well
purposely being a
spit in my
dick.
face.
Yeah, exactly. He was intentionally being a fucking jerk.
Major. I mean, I was too low, but I'm playing by the rules. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
told me you're cheating. You're gonna cheat.
Yeah, right.
Well, no,
Yeah,
but
for
he
sure.
should have been
So anyway,
the
I
fucking
punched the
adult in
wall
that
next to him.
situation. He escalated it. He
He
should
should
have.
have.
I'm gonna assign demerits, and
agree.
I'm gonna have you expelled from this mechanic monastery.
Next time you come in wearing ankle socks to this fucking mechanic
Yeah.
shop, you're a dead
Yeah,
man.
that's right. You're done.
Fuck
You're
it.
done.
You tuck your
Nah,
shirt
so
in
we-
when you're around me.
So they made me do what's it called anger management and all this stuff. So I did it, and I had to retake that whole class, which is 3 weeks all over again, every night for 3 weeks.
Oh.
Does
Right, so
anger
you're there for
management
4
work? I know 100 people that have
absolutely
taken
not.
anger
Never.
management. None
Never.
of it. They're as angry as they'll ever be. Still,
Ah, yeah.
the one
Let me
guy
tell
said,
you-
"I'm in
angry.
class.
I think
they
it makes
told
you
me to
angry.
hug myself. Hug myself. Count down to 10." I was like, "Hug yourself."
They're like, count to 10 and think about it. I'm like, I just take the 10 seconds to plan out what I'm gonna do better.
Yeah.
I'm like, at first I was enraged, but now with the 10 seconds, I'm
So-
like, I can get
What's
gasoline.
the best thing you learned from anger management class?
You probably don't even remember.
Nothing.
I don't. Hey, I remember going to a couple of classes. I don't remember much of it.
So
Incredible.
I
yeah,
went,
so
I went.
okay, go ahead.
I go on to. I get back. I go on to doing the electives. I'm a week from graduation. Doing our thing, and
Wait.
I'm
So
doing
you passed the jerk offs class, then you're able
Yeah,
to pick an
I had
elective.
to do it again.
Yeah, you're able, but he thought you were gonna get
Two
kicked out.
electives.
You were
Two
so you did
electives.
two.
So I was I was there for like another, let's say 12 weeks. Right?
Okay.
Every night. It's Monday through
Yeah.
Friday, 4 hours a day.
And you're
right?
working you're roofing
We're
during the day.
working, I'm roofing during the day. At this point, I think I might have switched to carpentry at this point. But nevertheless, I'm going every night. And so I literally a week from school. Actually, if you ever seen the commercials, the guy's always on. He's like one of the bald guys on the commercials selling it, and I'm like, that's the guy, babe. And so I get to the finals, and I'm standing on a lift, a motorcycle lift, and I'm doing an electrical test. They rig all the bikes so that they, you know what I mean. You got to fix them and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So I'm doing a test. I'm getting frustrated. I might have had a bad day at work. I don't fucking know what the deal was, but I wasn't having a good time with this bike. It wasn't doing what I wanted. I was getting all agitated. I might have threw the multimeter or something. Who knows? That guy gets up on the left. And instead of being the adult, like you said earlier, this guy gets in my face. He's screaming. He's standing on my nose to nose. And he's screaming at me. Like, don't you treat the bikes like that? These are my fucking bikes. Don't you fucking, you know what I mean? Instead of being like, yo, bud, why don't you go outside and have a cigarette? Come inside.
Yeah, cool
and we'll
off.
talk about
Yeah.
That's like way too mature for a mechanic, right? So
Yeah.
That's how it is in real life. Like you're fucking like, trying to like I used to
Well,
ride
he got abused in
BMX,
real life, right?
trying to rim a tire with those plastic fucking hook things as a kid. I would lose my fucking mind in my backyard. My mom would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I am trying to get this rubber around this fucking metal, and I'm gonna chew my own fingers off in the next 30 seconds."
Dude,
Me putting something from IKEA together. Same thing.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. So this guy's in my face screaming, and I just sent him for a ride off the lift. And,
Off the lift. How high were you?
It's about 4 feet to the bottom of your feet where you're sitting. You know what I mean? So it's elevated so you can stand there and work on the bike. But I was up on, it has the extensions. I was up on the lift with it. He climbed up there with me, and he was screaming in my face, and I just gave him a little.
Fucking,
how you doing?
see you later.
How you doing?
Yeah.
And you were a week away. This was during finals. This was during your finals, and you did this. So no anger management after this one, huh?
No. They brought a squad down, and they escorted me off the campus. And I think 2 years ago I might have finished paying that one off. Off that student loans.
Jesus.
But then I ended up meeting my girlfriend at the time down there. Is still having the same time. Met my girlfriend. I'm racing motocross still. Met my girlfriend. My girlfriend's got a kid at the time, which is my 17-year-old. She's 12 months old at this time, and we're 19, 20 years old. I get married. She gets pregnant, and then I'm like, oh, you know what? I got to call up some of my old buddies, Joey, Kyle, and all these guys, right? And one of our other friends, Dave Hutanis, I don't know if you guys know.
Oh, fuck yeah, Choder. Fuck yeah, I know Choder. Dude, Choder, Dave's a great dude. He was on the wrestling team with us. Great dude.
Oh, yeah, Hooter. Yep. So me and him were inseparable, man. He's one of my best friends in the whole. And, his dad got me in the union. And so I grabbed my wife and the kids, and we moved back up, and we started doing the apprenticeship. Meanwhile, okay, let me backtrack.
When you were in Florida,
when I was in Florida, and when I was at the school, I was in that same class I got thrown out of at the end of before finals. And I get these guys, and they say, "Yo, you want to come do some backyard bar? You want to come do a barbecue on Saturday?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, what are you talking about?" And they're like, "Yeah, you look like Scrappy, dude. You want to come do a bag? We do like boxing and stuff, and we cook and all this jazz." And I'm like, yeah, that sounds fun. And I got like a couple of guys that were like saying, yeah, they'll do it too, right? Nobody else shows up. I show up. There's no barbecue going on. There's nothing going on. These guys they got the old school camera out, the little handheld, and they're like, "Yo, here's a pair of gloves. Here's a pair of shin pads. You're fighting that big black dude over there." And I'm like, "What? Yeah, we're filming. You ready?" And I'm like, "Ready?"
Yeah. Kimbo Slice is up next, so get ready. Right?
Like quite. Yeah, it wasn't quite. They weren't like that big, but he was my size. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were same size guy. A guy was probably 6'2", and at the time
you had no idea you're getting into a backyard.
Oh no, not at all. Like I literally,
and you said okay. I would have been like, no, guys.
I mean,
see
dude,
ya.
there was a crowd of people. Like,
Yeah.
my
if you,
God.
have you ever done
So
any
they kind of
extreme
fucking
sports?
punked you, right? Like if you didn't, you were a punk.
If you know the Gerhardts or Con Lady or Dave Utanis, we're like the biggest for like, oh, you said I won't do something? Oh, you got to twist it. We're gonna do this.
yeah.
You know, so like I walked in there, I wasn't ready for that, and they were like, yeah, and I was like, they're like, you down? I was like, yeah, I'm down. What do you call me, bitch? I'm in.
Yeah.
You know, fucking
Yeah.
let's do it. You got a
Yeah.
mouthpiece? Nope. Throw some used boil and blade thing in,
Oh.
and they just filmed it, and we went to town, and they filmed it, and we watched it later, and we were like, man, we both gassed out before the end of the round. We're
Yeah.
both like huffing and puffing, like, you had enough, bitch. And they're like, no, you did. Yeah, I'm cool if you're cool. You know, type deal. And then-
Both hoping you both quit. You're like,
yeah,
this is
right there.
done.
You don't want to sound like the bitch. You don't want to be the first one to stop, but like,
Yeah.
you know, you're really like just hoping that the other guys quits too.
Yeah.
Like truce, bro. And so then I was like, man, they got
Any way we could get footage of that fight?
Oh my
I
god.
wish, man. I wish I was. They gotta have a place that they teach this stuff, right? This is like UFC. This is 2005,
Oh my
2004.
god.
You know what
Dude,
I mean?
like Ultimate Fighter haven't even started yet. Ken Shamrock's
Nah.
like the #1 fucking MMA guy
In
in the
the
world.
world.
Yeah. Him and Dan fucking Severin.
The Beast.
The Beast Dan.
Yeah,
Severin, you know what
man.
I'm saying?
Love
Like
Dan
those,
Severin.
Mike the Beast Johnson.
yeah.
right. I was.
Well,
So,
either way. So go ahead. Yeah.
So I go find this Gracie Baja Orlando. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the MMA world and stuff, but
Yeah.
Marcio Simas and there was literally 9, maybe not even, like 6 to 9 guys, right, that have since then all but like 2 have gone into the UFC. Some of the more reputable guys are like Seth Petrozelli, Luigi
He's-
Fioravanti,
Yeah.
Ben Saunders. You know, these
Yeah.
guys are like
For
UFC
yeah.
gurus. You know what I mean? And at the time, they're all like blue belts, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, I walk in the gym, I'm like, hey, look, I want to fight. And they're like, all right, well, we usually got to do Muay Thai for a year. You got to have
Yeah.
a year of jiu-jitsu, and
Yeah.
then you could try for our MMA team. That they didn't have MMA teams back in the day. You know, like
Yeah.
that, you know.
So they
they're
were like,
"Hey,
we
you
have
can
this
just-"
barbecue. If you want to come to it.
So I go in there and I'm like, all right. So I was doing like jujitsu for a little bit, and then I was doing Muay Thai for a little bit, and then I was like, look, man, like the whole reason I came is because I'm gonna fight. Can I join your MMA team? Can I do MMA practice with you guys? And they're like, all right, you can come try out one day. So
Okay.
like I'm with these guys, they're all killers, right?
Yeah. Set
And-
for hold on, real quick, Mike. For those of you listening, he said Seth Petrozelli was that is the guy that upset and knocked out Kimbo in Kimbo's first fight. Do you guys remember that when Kimbo was
With the
finally
pink hair.
with the pink hair, the big
Yeah.
Italian guy? So yeah.
Yep.
So no, and there's
Messed
more.
up ears.
Yep. What's
Oh.
that?
Yeah, cauliflower ear out the wazoo. They all.
Was his ear bleeding during that fight?
No. Before that. It's before that.
Oh, okay.
This is when
Yeah.
Kimbo got knocked out in 13
Yeah, okay.
seconds on national
Yeah.
TV,
But,
on
dude,
network television.
It was the
Hell
biggest
yeah.
dude. Everyone's like this guy because Kimbo was such an underground.
He was supposed to fight Ken Shamrock.
right.
Ken Shamrock got
Backed
hurt
out.
the night before.
Yeah.
Seth was on the undercard, or he was like the co-main or whatever he was, first on the main card or whatever. So then they literally asked him. He was the only one that big enough and with enough credentials to
Yeah.
step in at last minute like that because Kimbo,
And he knocked
as you
him
guys
out
know,
in
he was
15 seconds.
Oh,
13
dude,
seconds.
13.
smoked him.
Wow.
Bro, it was like it was honestly it was really what MMA wanted. They wanted it to be like the backyard bullshit's one thing. This is the other thing. And when you have a trained guy going against a backyard bullshit guy, this is what happens, right? And don't get it wrong, Masvidal would end up disproving that, like showing like, hey, if you take the backyard guy and show him how to fucking do it, right? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like that's difference. But
Sure.
if you have a
Learn.
guy that's trained and a guy that's not trained, even though he's jacked and big and mean and whatever, doesn't make a difference. The learned guy always wins. Yeah.
So
Yep. Yeah,
is there
sure.
a better could there be a better feeling than being in a big time fight, a
Dude,
big time setup
dude,
fight,
this was a
and you
massive
knock the
audience.
guy out in fucking no time at all? You walk out, you knock him out. You're the fucking
dude.
man.
Dude,
I
Seth
remember-
Petrozelli became a
remember-
household name after that. You know,
Yeah, he went on to the UFC.
McGregor
Bellator.
versus Aldo, Tyson's whole career. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
just
sure.
knocking people out like that. Like, oh my
crazy.
God.
what would you say is better, Mike? Knocking a guy out with a body shot or a headshot?
A body shot.
Body.
All
I would
day.
say
I
the
mean,
same
especially.
thing. I fucking.
not only
it's
does
the
it hurt
best.
him more, but man, you get just so many. As you know, like in the industry, if you will, like
Sure.
you get more street creds for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's
Like,
rare.
I mean,
It's more rare.
It's rare. Yeah.
Well, you have
So
to be
people that
you have
do
to
it,
be a
they're like,
sniper.
"Wow."
Yeah, you have to have
Yeah.
it. You have to have it, right? You have to be able to throw the body shot that will knock someone out or knock someone down. Not everyone has it, right? But everyone has, like there's guys too, like that can get knocked out but still go. If you get hit with a body shot, I don't care who the fuck you are, it's over. It's fucking
demoralizing.
Unless you're
It's
fucking
so
a Toro Gotti
painful.
for some fucking reason.
I've
right?
lost 2 professional fights to body shots.
Oh, bro. There honestly,
I mean,
it's
tough.
pain like you would never feel. And this guy
Like you
broke
would
both
never
his shin
believe.
bones. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
let me tell you. I mean, it shuts your body down.
yeah.
It shuts your whole body down.
But dude, I'll tell you, it's like how like you hit the sweet spot on a bat, right? It's that times 5,000 when you land one. I'll tell you that right now. It's the best. It's the best
Hear
feeling
it.
going. Oh, dude, I'll tell you. So we'll get back to you. We'll
Fucking
get
psychos.
we'll get back to you. One sec. I just want to say
I'll hit
this.
a baseball, Matt. Thank
Yeah.
you.
No. The perfect example of this is you look up the Triple G Matthew Macklin fight. You'll see Triple G lands a body shot. He hits him. He hits him with his left on Matthew Macklin's right side. You see it land here, and then you in slow motion you see it reverberate out the other side, right? And that guy, yeah, he went down. But I'm just saying, like that kind of shit.
Needless to say, the guy's dead.
yeah. Needless to say, that's the last anyone ever heard of him. But so either way, so let's get
If
back.
you
into
watch
it.
Temple of Doom, the guy reaches and he grabs his heart.
Yeah. So let's get back into it. So you're in Florida. You had
Yeah,
the
so anyway,
backyard
so I
gimmick.
started-
Now you're at the gym. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I had 2 professional fights. Shortly thereafter, a couple years later. I mean, and then at that point, that's when I moved away.
How much did you get paid for those fights?
My first fight, bro, was in Tampa, Florida, for $250, and there was no amateur bouts.
Nope.
at
They
the
didn't have it
time.
back then.
They didn't have amateurs back then.
No.
If you wanted to, you could go up to Mississippi and
But-
fight up in like Biloxi,
Yeah.
and you could do an amateur bout. But I wasn't traveling all the way up there just to do
Fuck
that.
no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
I
had
mean-
to fight a professional fight.
They didn't have
Yeah,
MMA
yeah.
amateur.
It was like, and I had
now
a couple
it's
years under
by
my
state.
belt, training 6 days a week, like a madman.
Yeah.
And then
You're training, you're working full time, and you have a girl, right? Like,
yeah,
with a kid.
Wait, what weight class?
185.
185. And did you have to cut for that?
Oh yeah, I'm a.
What
I'm
what
a
are you
big 85.
naturally? What's your natural?
I'm 215.
you're
Really?
215.
I'm 6'2",
How tall are
215.
you?
I wouldn't say you were. Oh, I guess. Well, you got
Two-
the heavy bones. That's
I'm
why.
219 today, but hey, easy. I'm gonna get it back down.
I wouldn't have
Oh,
said you were.
badass.
No. I'll tell you, Mike. I wouldn't have guessed you were 215. I would have said you were like maybe around 200, if a little under. But
Oh,
'cause-
yeah, okay.
well, like you're solid. You know.
Every
what
time-
Every time I
because you
run
got-
with
buttering you up,
anybody at the
Mike.
gym, they're
He's
like,
buttering you up.
what are you like 230 now? 240? I'm like,
Oh
dude,
my
relax.
god, dude,
Every
they're fucking
single
such
day.
shit busters at that. You know what I mean? They fucking try.
That's it, because anytime they become the opponent, then your weight goes up and up and up and up.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh dude, well I lost. He's 280 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's
Yeah.
fucking
He's
way-
What do you mean I gotta
350?
spar? I gotta spar him. He's 300 pounds. I'm like,
Yeah.
He's 6'4".
yeah, dude, 6'5". I'm like, dude, my name's Mike.
7'6". I'm
Yeah.
fighting Shaq over here.
That it is, dude. That is what it turns into. So many guys
true,
mentally
right?
beat themselves. They fucking don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah,
But
it's fun.
yeah. It's
But
all
yeah,
part of the game.
so I went and fought my first professional fight. Got the shit beat the fuck out of me.
Wasn't
but,
the guy you fought like he had like 8 fights
he
or something? Right?
Like I was like what 20? I'm like 20 years old.
Yeah.
He's got at the time he was like 3 or 4-0,
Okay.
which back then was like even back then was still unheard of. Like
Yeah.
you got like a couple fights and then you get a loss.
Yeah.
But he ended up going I think like 8 or 9-0 before he ended up losing. He
Yeah.
fought like Frank Trigg and shit.
Yeah. Jesus.
But anyway, he was like collegiate wrestler. I was like fighting a man. I'm like 19, 20 years old. And this dude's like
yeah.
27.
You're like, guy, I was in a
D1
wheelchair 2
wrestler,
years ago.
All-American. I'm like, he's like on a win streak. I'm like, all right, sweet, and then everybody, so he beat the piss out of me. I mean, we went the distance. We went to a decision.
Mike, I
but,
gotta
I
say
mean,
something. You get into a lot of fights. I wouldn't suggest, like the backyard,
The number one
NCAA
fight.
you think it'd be better at
All-American.
it,
The number one fight he lost was against the dirt bike. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Don't fight.
It
Don't
was
fight
my
that
ex-wife,
again.
bro.
so
The
okay,
worst
so you
part of
have
my
a
life
couple.
was getting divorced.
Oh, bro, that's
They
a,
say
yeah.
you never truly know a woman till you divorce her.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oof. Oh God, I don't know. Mine.
All right,
mine
let's
was-
get into that.
Yeah, no,
You
no.
never
No.
truly know a woman.
Yeah. Period. No,
That's
dude,
it.
I don't even. Yeah, that thought keeps me up at night. My wife's Eastern European, so I mean,
Oh,
God,
yeah, I
don't
saw
know.
the name on my phone.
Yeah.
I couldn't even pronounce it. I'm like,
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
that? But yeah, so then I head up Hooter and that whatnot, and I go up to the union, and I join the union, and I come up and I actually Henzo Gracie's, right? So I
Yep.
go up there and I move in with my parents because I got to do the apprenticeship program through the
Sure.
union.
Sure.
And meanwhile, I got to train because I'm in the middle of my fighting career. I got 3 pro fights at this point,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm looking to train.
What
with some
year
guys.
is this, Mike?
It's 2007.
Okay. Cool.
So I started February 2005,
Okay.
and 2007 I was on my 3rd pro fight.
Okay. Cool.
And then
So you're back up in PA.
yeah, I'm back up in PA, and
Yep.
I go to Henzo's right down the street. I'm up in Lansdale again.
Yep.
I go to Henzo, and they're like, "Yeah, you can't cross train," and I'm like, I mean, you guys have no professional fighters, and so
What's
I
cross train? Cross
Where-
train?
when you go-
like I was gonna go. I was gonna do my original plan was to go to Henzo's and then like supplement some training down in the city where all the pro fighters were,
Yeah.
and and just cross train. So I'm training with 2 different gyms.
Yeah. It's
So,
honestly,
You to
it's
do that.
well, no, back then they didn't. Now, because there's more Henzo Gracie Gracie gyms, that's all
Yeah.
anyone does, right? Like we're
Yeah.
going down to Daniels. Daniels is coming up to us. We're going to South Jersey. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like you go
Sure.
like
Now
Hey, they
everybody
did this.
cross
Daniels
trains.
wasn't around.
Well,
There was no.
exactly.
You had New
exactly.
York and you had Rich. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that was, but
that
like
was it.
exactly back then you didn't have other one, it's for safety reasons really, because like you go to some gyms and it's fucking just a bunch of bags of meat, right? And like also it's filthy and dirty, whatever. There's standards at the Gracie gyms, so and also like the caliber of fighter you're getting is better, but back then this wasn't there, right? Like now
You didn't have the options that you have now.
exactly
You know what I
and
mean?
and you
Long story
did
short.
yeah, and you did need to cross train. It's like they've been doing it in boxing for years. It's just like, had you not said anything, they probably wouldn't even have known,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean?
But, yeah, they probably
you know.
wouldn't have. But I was forthcoming about it, and they shut it down. So I was like, all right,
Yeah.
look, I just took option B. I was like, look, I'm just going to go to the city. So I joined Philadelphia Fight Factory with Eddie Alvarez and
Yeah,
Zach
yeah.
Mikowski, Tara LaRosa,
Yeah. Dude, they were
Will Martinez of Martinez BJJ. They producing all sorts of MMA stars.
Did you go to when Eddie was fighting for Pride? Would you go to his fights in AC?
I wouldn't go to Japan, but we would go to his house or one of the other guys' house, and we'd all, get pizza and watch him live, at like 2:00 in the morning or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it was whatever time there. And we would all, the fight team would all be in one house and
Do
we would stream it or whatever it was.
Do you remember his shirts? Right?
He was
had-
he was still Bodog when I started. This
Dude,
is like long before he got into all that.
So I remember Tom, and we would go. He would have he was fighting for Pride, and you remember the way Pride used to do it back in the day is that they would fight in a ring, they would fight in a boxing ring, and they would match country versus country, right? So that's how they would sell the fight. So like there was one of them we went to, and you have to Eddie Alvarez's fan base is all like Kenzo, Nisti, like all those
man.
people, right? So we're at a fight in AC. Tom, I think you were there that night.
I was there.
We're
I
at a
remember.
fight in AC.
I know what
right?
you're gonna say. The sign.
Exactly. So it's it was US versus Japan was the pride fight that they had built. So it was like Japanese fighters versus US fighters. Eddie was the headliner of the card. He had the whole crowd was basically for him, right? And it was all a bunch of Kenzo and Nistis, right?
Oh yeah.
And there's these two kids, and they just kept walking around the venue the whole time. It's probably like 5,000 people, whatever. It was at the Boardwalk Hall, right? I think it was in the ballroom though. It wasn't in the main room. So, or in the main stadium, it was in the ballroom. So it was like 5,000. There's these kids walking around with this massive sign, 8 feet long, 2 feet wide, and it says "Dirt Nap That Jap." They just walk around the place, right? He ends up smoking them. But this was the crazy thing is that before Eddie's fight, they wanted to they wanted to introduce to everyone the Pride World Heavyweight Champion. And this fucking guy walks out in like fucking baggy ass Jenko jeans and a t-shirt. He looked like a fat fucking slob, right? And this is the Pride World Heavyweight Champion. Turns out to be Fedor Emelianenko.
Yeah.
You know, and we were like, who's this fucking jabron? Turns out to be like, you know, one of the best ever kind of thing.
Ever. The last ever.
Yeah. And then, the last ever. And then Eddie, I'll remember this. Eddie's merch game must have been through the roof because he has Alvarez tattooed.
He was so great at selling fights.
Oh, dude, there was so many because there was the shirts, right? He has Alvarez tattooed in the top middle of his back. He sold shirts that would say like Fight Factory or whatever team, whatever. And on the back, it said Alvarez where his tattoo was.
Yeah. And the same spot too.
Yeah. In the same spot. And every motherfucker there had one of those shirts. You know what I mean? It was, dude, awesome. But I remember, that was a good time. So you were training with him at those, dude. And they were
so I was down there. I was down out in Philadelphia Fight Factory, traded for years and stuff like that. All while hanging sheetrock for the union. You know, I was a rock star, right? So that's what we call.
Did you know Judo? Judah? His name was Judah.
Oh, Judah Serrera.
Yeah, he was a tall, skinny guy.
I know Judah. Yeah.
He used to be the head bouncer down at McFadden's at the ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
he was there.
Yeah, Pete.
Yeah, go ahead. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We're gonna
go ahead.
Were you gonna say about Dave Sale?
No. What happened?
You know Dave Sale? Oh, he got a bunch of Kensington dudes jumped them and
yeah. No.
Judah was working that night.
Oh,
and I talked to Judah about it like right shortly thereafter because he was the head of security there.
Yeah.
And he was telling me his version of the story or whatever. It was just it was sad, man. But
so if you guys remember,
Mike, you ever been in a situation now hanging out with like wrestlers and whatever growing up, but you ever been in a situation where a fight is about to start and you're like, I want nothing to do with this fight. Like every
day of my life.
Every day.
I go out and I'm a bachelor, if you will, now because I'm divorced and all that jazz. So I go out all the time, but I'm always trying to dude. I don't want
it's the last fucking thing, man.
Well, nowadays, like if you would have,
but I'm saying
but it's still,
you're in to get your, I'm saying you're in to get your, you're like, fuck, we're gonna get our fucking asses kicked right now.
That's happened. That happened pretty bad with actually down in Florida. I was living with a couple guys, and this before I met my wife or whatever, right simultaneously when I was meeting her. And we had a house party, and my two roommates were a couple 5 years older than me, and one of my roommates' little sister lived in the cul-de-sac, and we got jumped. Well, we had a big party for her 18th birthday, so they had a bunch of seniors there. We bought all the booze and stuff. It was our house. Yeah. I'm like 19. My buddy's 24. My other buddy's like 27. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we're all living in a 3-bedroom house in the cul-de-sac in Little Haiti down in Orlando.
Yeah.
And he and that's essentially what it was. My one buddy, we call him Haitian Singh. He's a Haitian guy. He was living. So his little sister, she was over, and the school system down there is a little Ruff, if you will. And
Yeah.
they had a bunch of people come over, and they had, they were like thugging or whatever. And there was a fight broke out, and me and actually the guy that was walking around here. I guess you can't see with the background, but
Yeah.
me and him go outside. There's a fight between two guys, and we pull them apart and jack them up and tell them, like, listen, you got to get out of the party,
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Because we're the only ones of age,
Yeah.
and everybody else is under 18. Actually, I was still underage too,
Yeah.
and so they come, and boy, let me tell you what, these two Hispanic fellas, they joined forces like you wouldn't believe for us guys. I mean, we're just regular.
They were like,
Caucasian
get the
Americans."
gringos, get them.
Yeah, essentially, they're essentially like, what?
They weren't on
And,
your
like,
team. They
No,
weren't on
they
your
were
team,
not
bro.
on our
We're on
team.
this
They
team.
joined
Yeah,
they
yeah.
joined forces quick, and what happened is we jacked them up, and the one dude pushed me or pushed my boy. I can't remember what it was, but I remember looking over at him, and he's mid swing. He knocks this dude out, and I'm like, all right. So we start rumbling, and everybody picked two sides. They were either on the one guy's side, because apparently what happened was the guy smacked his girlfriend, who happened to be the brother of the sister.
Okay.
The brother of the girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the
Yeah.
brother of the girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
So he smacks his girlfriend, and her brother comes over, who happened to be also at the party, and is fighting with him, and we tear it apart. So the whole party splits into two parties, like the guy that smacked the girl and the guy that was defending his sister, and then
Yeah.
both sides did not like the white guys that got in the and we after they got done beating on each other, my boy Kurt ended up with stitches all over his head from getting swatted with the butt of a gun. I got a ruptured eardrum from getting smacked with a flower pot, and people were getting tased, and the cops were in. And
Kudos to
it
you
was
for having
it
a
was
flower
melee,
pot, though.
dude. To be honest with you, I was standing on the front porch, and I was watching these groups of people fighting, and there's like four people stopping one guy, like all over the lawn. Like, I'm just watching these brawls happen. And like, I finally was out of the melee, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I was just like, can't believe this, right? And this one dude comes up, and he's like, it's you. It was you. You started this whole thing. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about, dude. I'm like, who am
Like,
I?
I don't even live
Right?
here.
I was just watching. I'm the neighbor. I live next door.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And I'm watching all these people like start turning around, like, oh yeah. And I'm like,
It was the white guy.
yeah, he was darker than me.
Yeah.
And this dude came out of nowhere. I like looked over, and I just got a flower pot, which was the next door neighbor's flower pot.
Nice terracotta,
Oh.
nice
like a
tan
terracotta
yeah.
Oh,
like
shattered
like
on
one of
impact.
the tan clay
Yeah.
fucking gimmicks.
Yeah, the clay ones.
Yeah,
Like,
shattered on
dude, and
impact.
he whacked me over the side of the head with that thing, and man,
You
my
woke
ear
up
was-
later.
That's
No,
dude,
I stayed coherent. I took off running. I got chased by a
I glued
handful
the
of
plant
guys.
back together, and
Oh,
No,
bro.
you know what? My dumbass ran into the backyard with a 6-foot fence around it. I was
Yeah.
like, well, that was dumb. And I'm gonna get stomped.
Dude,
Pin.
fucking like
I ended up, thank God, I ended up getting in a little bit of a melee with some of the guys that chased me, and the cops pulled into the cul-de-sac, and everybody started scurrying. And I'm like, cops, everybody out, quick.
yeah. You're
We
like,
gotta
"Oh, there's
stop
cops over there."
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm like,
that
dude, I
was-
can't do this. We're all the same team now. It's us versus the cops.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, it would have been hilarious if you were like, yeah, I saw these guys about to jump me, so I grabbed a flower pot and I hit myself in the head. So, okay. So either way, we kind of got off track there. So you left
Yeah.
Florida, no more flower
Yeah.
pots in Florida. You come
Yeah,
back
yeah,
up
yeah,
to PA.
sorry.
So you're training at
Yeah,
Fight
so
Factory.
I'm
You're
yeah,
you're a
I'm
rock
sheetrock for a
star.
living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well,
So
yeah.
how long were you
Like, that's
doing
what they
this
call
for?
me.
Yeah.
From 2007 to 2000. Well, till 2011 was my last pro fight. So,
Dude, so you were fighting full time from 2007 to 2011?
June 2010 was my last professional.
how many
fight.
fights?
9.
Dude,
Nine.
dude, I remember like when I was fighting full time, bro, it fucked like I had 6 fights the one year and it damn near fucking killed me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Oh,
it
I
is
had a wife
so
that was
fucking
in
much.
nursing school. I had 2 babies, and then
Ugh.
so I had to work. So I worked all
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Got done working. We go off to train. Come home, eat dinner, pack a bag, boom, back down in the city.
Yeah.
Sit in traffic if there's a game, and all this all pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everything was crazy.
Yeah.
And then
You're parking, hoping your car doesn't get stolen.
yeah, that's when I started carrying. 'Cause we're a fish town.
Yeah.
This
This was back before the Fishtown flip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way before the fish town flip.
And you're on like
And,
Fishtown on the border, right by the fucking
around the
right
border,
by Kenzo.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just a carpenter at this point.
No, he's doing
Yeah.
sheetrock.
Well, that's
Yeah, I
part-
mean, I'm
Oh.
a union carpenter, but that's what they do. You know what I mean? We call it white gold. I was
do you
sheetrocking.
spackle?
No.
Spackling
Just
is nice.
framing and drywall. But for the most part, if you're a big guy, they
They
you're-
want
you're
you
known
to-
as a
Are
rock
you a
star.
finisher? Like is
Yeah. Hanging
like,
and banging.
Is there like the different terms like for?
Yeah, finish carpenter.
Well, no, but like. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a finisher. There's like as in like I employ drywall finishers and I
Yeah.
employ carpenters.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. So can I
So-
ask you this, Mike?
It's a different trade.
Yeah.
How long did you roof for? How long were you doing roofing?
So I was doing roofing from so I started my right out of my senior year, right around my senior, right at the end of my senior year, until I was like 19 or 20. So I'd maybe say 17 to 20 for like 3 years, but I always did it as side work on the you know what I mean? So I
Ever
would
fall
shingle
off.
when I was oh yeah.
You
off
fell
the roof?
off?
Fell off a roof, yeah, I fell off a few. Yeah.
What the
Wait,
fuck?
How many times?
Probably 2 or 3, but Florida's only one.
What the fuck?
Oh, Florida's one.
All right,
Florida's one
okay.
story.
There was only
Yeah.
one story.
All right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all I'm
you're
thinking.
talking
Yeah,
like
we're doing.
8 to 10 feet on the grass, and I was young
Yeah.
still. So it was no
Yeah,
big
that's
deal.
nothing. I was.
Wait.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Justin.
nothing.
Especially
nothing
after
I
really
was.
Motocross.
Yeah, I was doing them in like the the 3-story like twin
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When I was
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
8, and like they would like be like, "Hey, don't fall off the edge," and be like, "You're." I couldn't believe they would let us do that when we were kids. But yeah,
How
Wait.
old were you, J-Dub?
I was like, they would. My
Did
dad
you
would
say
take me
8?
and sit me on a pitched roof for a day. You know what I mean? I just have to sit up there while he roofed, and I'd just be sitting up there fucking around on the roof. He'd maybe hand him shit and stuff. And I'd be like, this is 70 feet down. Walking around up there. And that's when you said, you fell. I'm like, no, you can't fall. Like, what are you talking?
Yeah.
Florida, hell yeah. Fall
But
off the roof.
so I want to ask you this, Mike. So we've had electricians on the show. We've had master carpenters on the show. We've had all these different, union guys on the show, construction and everything. And the one thing we always ask them is who runs the job site. And the electricians would say it's the electricians. The masons would say it's the masons. Everyone hates the fucking plumbers, apparently. But what about you? Who would you say runs the job site?
I mean, yeah, without a doubt, all those guys. We can put all those guys on the podcast at the same time. They're all going to agree with me. The carpenters run the job.
The
Like I told you-
carpenters.
like I told you before.
And if they don't
Like
agree,
garbage. I mean,
the
look.
next time they see me, I'll be carrying a baseball bat.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So okay.
Wait,
so,
everyone
Yeah.
hates plumbers?
I mean, I listen. Look, I'm a disciple, dude. I practice. I preach my beliefs and push it on all my guys, right? So, in my eyes, everybody's got to get along. You got to get along
Yeah.
with the plumbers.
Anger
electricians.
management worked. Anger management worked.
You know what?
You know what?
Conflict, solution,
You did it.
and reason.
You did it.
Money
Money talks.
Money
works.
works, dude. Because guess what? I wanna go run this job, right? Me as an owner, right?
Yeah.
If my guys are fighting with the other trades, my
Yeah.
boss, which is the general contractor who employs the plumbers, the electricians, the carpenters, the fitters,
Yeah.
the floor layers, you know what I mean? The painters, everybody's got to get along. If we don't get along and the contractor doesn't make money, guess who's not going to the next job? Me as the employer.
Damn right.
My company's not going to get invited to the
Dude.
next big one
Mike,
because they're going to
Mike,
be like, you know what? All his guys are a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Mike, I swear to God, the next time you have a talk with your crew about getting along, film it, send it to the show. Listen, you motherfuckers. We gotta get
No
along, or else.
No fucking fighting.
Look,
You
I know
pieces of shit.
I know the plumbers are jerk offs and the
Jerk-offs.
electricians are fucking pansies, but god damn it, you're gonna work together and you're gonna like each other.
Listen,
Yeah.
you
That's
motherfucking
kinda
pieces
like-
of shit.
Yeah.
If you don't get along, the next time I see you, I'm breaking your fucking leg. All right?
Yeah, you
That's
better
kinda
hope we
what it's
don't build
like,
a
man.
roof because you're getting pushed off of it. All right.
You ever fallen off a roof? Not in Florida. A real roof.
A real one.
Dude, fuck
That's
it.
kind of
Yeah.
what it's like, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta. I tell everybody, you know, listen, you gotta get along. You know,
Yeah.
if you're not getting along, if we're not making money and we're not making the man money, then we're not going to the next one together. And nobody wants to be out of work.
Yeah.
That's right.
True.
So
You
you
gotta
gotta-
lead the
you
team,
gotta-
Mike.
Yeah.
Lead the
you gotta
team.
lead the team, man. You
There
can't.
you go.
You know, I wouldn't be a good owner or a good boss if I was
Yeah.
leading by example.
Yeah.
So, but firm but fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
gotta be
you have
firm
to
but
be.
fair.
And you lead by example. The hardest workers get the most respect. That's what I always felt.
And it's
you
so
know?
tough too, because sometimes, you know, I've had it in my past where it's like you're working with certain people and eventually you just get to the point where you can't sugarcoat shit. You got to not necessarily mean.
I don't
but
wear lipstick for nobody.
straight
pal.
up. Listen, dude,
Yeah.
this is what you got to do. And if you don't like it, you got to take a hike. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
There's
it.
like a certain sweetness to the people you depend upon. Like there, you know that there's like people you need to get stuff done, so you have to be nice to them. You know the people that you can just be very ignorant to if you have to be.
Nah,
I used to load-
I'm saying
I used
like,
to load
Better learn to
trucks.
do it all, pal. If you
Yeah.
can do it all, then you can fire anybody you want. 'Cause everybody's replaceable.
What-
I used to load
yeah.
trucks,
True.
and you would need to, when you loaded them, get the guy who had the basically it was the front of an 18-wheeler that would pull the trailers out from the dock. So, and there was only one guy, so like you had to be nice to him because like there'd be 9 people at a time radioing him like, "Hey, come grab this trailer at a dock 54."
sure.
Come grab-"
Oh, yeah.
And so he would
Sure.
pull like who he liked and shit. You know what I mean? So like
yeah.
Yeah.
there's a certain like you'd be nice. I get him a
It's like
Snickers
it's
bar.
like the elevator operator on a big job. You know?
Yeah.
Like there's certain people you gotta
cooks
be
at a
nice
restaurant. You gotta be
Okay.
cool with the
Job site.
cooks. I need
Yeah.
the shit now. Like, give me
Yeah.
my food, dude. Fuck these other people.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you this though.
That's all from an employee standpoint. From an
Oh,
owner
true.
standpoint,
True.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You know?
Owner,
When
you
you're
gotta be
signing the
like,
checks,
this is
everybody
what you
better
need
do
to do.
exactly what I tell them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I think honestly, I'll tell you this. I remember I had a boss and he's one of the best bosses I ever had. And one of the reasons he was an asshole, but he was the same asshole to everybody. If you fucked up, he let you know. If you did a good job, he let you know, but he didn't play favorites. He told you what he expected of you and held you to that standard. And if you didn't do it,
Hold you
that's when he
accountable.
let you.
Yep.
Exactly. But there's no bullshit. And there's no
I
like
see.
you-
I wouldn't say that's being an asshole. You just have to be.
no, he was an ass. He wasn't an asshole because
Straight
of
up.
that. He wasn't an asshole
you're,
because
you're
of that.
honest.
He
You're
was
blunt.
he was an asshole for other reasons, but like,
Oh.
but like as far as like managerial style, he told you what needed to be done,
Firm but fair.
firm but
Yeah.
fair. That's it. And like the same firm but fair to everybody. There is no playing favorites. There's no girls get treated different bullshit. Everyone got treated the same, and I thought that like. And honestly, and shit ran like clockwork. Everyone knew, and then like when you have the veteran guys that like, I'm sure there's guys that are on your payroll, Mike, that are like your veteran guys that these are your like non-commissioned officers that you need to lead by example. And these are the guys that you expect to go out and like, this is how we work. This is what you expect. And this is how you carry yourself.
Well, it's been a long road. I mean, I started my business in 2015, 14 technically, but 15 for all intents and purposes, January 2015. And I was still wearing a tool belt for several years.
Yeah.
And that's with, we had 20, 30, 40 carpenters, at any given time. And I had my tool belt in my truck at all times. I was on every job site,
Yeah.
running, screaming, yelling at people, the whole lot, look, I'm a carpenter too. Tell me I can't. I was topping of my class as an apprentice. I won the carpenter contest. And, they sent me to Vegas 3 times. Like, and then I got divorced.
Yeah.
And was okay.
Well, no, let's talk about, I want to talk about that though, because you brought that up when we were doing the pre-show meeting. So there's a carpentry contest that you would eventually go to Vegas and you would eventually win. So what is it?
A
What did you have to
little
do?
mixed up there, but yeah.
Okay. So yeah, but what is it? What would you have to do? And then like give us a rundown. What's going on?
Okay, so you do a 4-year apprenticeship, and
Okay.
they have like A class, B class, C class. You know, there's 150 kids in it per year, and
Okay.
the first two classes, A class and B class, are like rated by your grades. So if you're an A classman, you're at the top of your GPA.
Yeah.
And that's for whether it's building stuff or blueprint reading or it's everything together, your attendance, the whole nine. And it's 8 hours once a week for 8 hours. You miss a day working, you gotta go to class or go to the school or whatever. And you got to do that for 4 years. So I was top of my class through I was in A class, I should say, all 4 years. And then you take a test to actually go into the contest, but you have to not only pass this test or grade high on the test, but you also have to have all the credentials to get into the contest, right? So all of A class and B class gets to take the test, and they only take 8 guys of 150, and you spend 8 hours doing shit and building something, and they got TV crews there and the whole nine, and then the winner gets a lot of notoriety within the industry. It's a
Yeah.
big
What do
deal.
you build?
And I ended up building I think it was like 8x8 pergola. So we built the deck, the pergola, the bench seats, everything with 8 hours and no power tools.
No power
Damn.
tools.
Whoa.
Wow.
Fucking A.
No
Your
power tools.
forearms must
Hand
have been
saws.
cooking.
Hand saws, hand nailing, um,
Hey, Mike, I got a trip to Vegas for you. If you come build a pergola in my backyard.
No, I didn't go to Vegas. I didn't go to Vegas for the contest. I went to Vegas. They further down the line, I became a foreman. I was running work for some companies, bigger companies and stuff like that. And they asked me to go to Vegas because the International Union, which is based out of Las Vegas, picked Philadelphia as one of the stronger unions. And
Nice.
they wanted to start a new program where they were doing a leadership program where they wanted to bring people in, the future leaders of America, which they ended up calling the 300 Hitters Club. So the top 150 guys in the Philadelphia area of 30,000 carpenters. They want to send them out to Vegas, all expenses paid, and train them so that they could come back and manifest those teachings to the workforce, their peers, if you will.
Oh,
Right. So I was selected as one of the top guys to
that's
go fly
fucking
out.
great, man.
I went out there and I came back and I started my business.
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
that's
but I
fucking
went,
awesome, man.
And you
I
left
went
the
out-
union,
I-
you went on your own.
No,
Well,
I was still an owner operator, but yeah, I left and I came back.
but
I came back and I ended up going. They sent me out 2 more times. Once I became an owner, they had more programs and they started doing it more regularly, and they started picking all the different unions in Chicago, Miami, New York, everywhere, and they were sending guys out and training guys. And then they came up with a new program, which was that was like the future leaders of America, and then it was like an ownership, like owners and for the other side. So they wanted the owners and project managers and stuff like that weren't wearing the tool belts to see what these guys were being taught, so they had an understanding of what their employees were going through.
okay.
So so they wanted me to come out there for that too, in which I did, and for the same reason, they were like, he and to this day, all my apprentices, like I have 4 apprentices, right, and who are going through school, but each one of these guys throughout the years, they had stood up in the class and they're like, that kid is tell me who you work for. And they're like, blue collar builders. And they're like, tell them who owns it. And they're like, you hear that? That kid was in this classroom 4 years ago or 5 or whatever, now it's a while, 8 years ago, but in 2015, 2016, when I first started my business, I was fresh. I was only out of the apprenticeship for a short period of time.
Yeah.
So they were like, tell me who you work for. They're like, that kid was top in the class. He was in the contest, and you can be too. Using me as so the apprentices would come to.
You're the sales pitch.
The apprentices would come back to work, and they'd be like, "Yo, boss, they talked about you at school today. I'm like, what? They made me stand up and everything. They point me out there. telling
You're
us
like,
that.
shit, what'd they say? What'd
Yeah.
they say?
Yeah.
I didn't get
Like,
kicked out of this one.
Yeah, I didn't push anyone off of a fucking lift in this class. All right, everyone was
Yeah,
safe,
it's true.
dude.
Yeah,
What?
so
So,
they-
wait,
But
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to hear the
Dude, that is-
impressions.
That is good
Right, so-
job,
dude,
Mike.
no,
Something
yeah,
else.
fucking dude, no, you should be very proud of that. That is an accomplishment, and like I know you're selling yourself short, but dude, that is a great thing, and that is something you should be very proud of, and that is that it's fantastic that you got selected, and you can tell by like just from talking with you, and you're very knowledgeable, but also like very well spoken and stuff. I can see why they chose you, and dude, it's just a testament to how hard you work and the work you do, man. So you should be very
I
proud of
appreciate
that.
that, man. I appreciate it. Yeah,
Of
thanks.
course. But
Look.
I did want to ask this. So when we were
Go ahead.
talking, there is something different about the carpenters union and like the electricians union or someone else, right? Whereas like,
yeah.
if you're an electricians union, right, and like they don't get you work, you go on the list, and then when work comes back up,
Yeah,
then
so
your name-
so the way it works with the electricians and the plumbers, so it's my feeling that everybody, the unions get a bad name, right? So
Yeah.
you've heard it. Union guys are like, oh yeah, we're the best, we're the bomb, blah blah blah. It's like, well, yeah, 3% of the U.S.'s workforce, 3%. Okay,
Yeah.
so settle down. Oh,
Yeah,
union
yeah.
versus non-union, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But they do get a bad rep. I'm sure you guys all hear, union bums, this, that, and the other.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Everybody's a union bum.
yeah,
Part of what contributes to that is the fact that these guys, they mandate the work, right? So if you're an electrician, you go on a list, and that list, you get a job starts, and the guy calls and says, hey, I need 4 electricians, and he's got to call the hall. And the hall says, okay, well, Johnny's at the top of the list, so he gets a job first, even though he sucks. And then the next guy, he goes, and they're like, these guys blow. Every time you guys say I call a hall, I get it. Well, the carpenters solicit their own work. So I could get laid off. If I lay one of my guys off, I say, yo, listen, you suck, kick rocks. He says, all right, fuck you, Mike. I got friends. All right. And he calls his buddy up and he says, yo, you guys hired? They're like, yeah, you used to work here, 3 months ago. Hey, you were always pretty good. Come on. I got work for you tomorrow. Boom. Doesn't have to go on ahead. So what happens is when work's flowing, everybody's working, right? But when 2009 happens and there's a recession and there's no work, guess who rises? The cream rises,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you get all the guys that are like actually good carpenters, the ones
Yeah.
that are actually making guys like me money, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which is what I constantly was preaching all through 2009, 2010. One of the reasons I worked the whole time, because I would tell everybody, I'm like, screw you. You can lay me off. I'm going to work until I'm out of work. You're
Yeah.
going to lay me off, and then somebody else is going to want me to make that money, and I'm going to work till that guy's out of work.
Yeah, yeah.
And while all you guys are sitting around going, hey, slow down. I think this job's coming to an end. They're going to have layoffs in a week or two. Like, got to drag it out a little bit. Drag it out. Let me space the work out. I'm like, nah, dude, I'm going to bury you in your attitude. And I'm going to go,
Yeah.
I'm going to get hired by the next guy because I'm a good worker.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, it really is, which is why they were sending all those people to Vegas. It's a mindset, man. It's that negative mindset. It just catches, and it becomes like a cancer.
Yeah.
But you could be the same thing in reverse. You could be one of the positive, part of the chemo treatments, if you will. And you can be the positive and be like, yeah, look, dude, you could be cool and work your butt off and not be out of work.
Yeah.
Like, it works that way. If you're making somebody money, you will stay employed.
Yeah.
I've noticed
Period.
the best workers in the unions always seem to be working.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, it's at rocket science. It doesn't, forget about, just take the word union out of that.
Yeah.
The best workers are
Workers
always working.
True. Dude. And yeah.
And be a good employee.
Yeah.
Wake up, do your best, make your boss as much money as you fucking can, and guarantee you're going to get a raise. You're going to keep succeeding.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go, Mike. Let's
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah. It's crazy that like if you
True
work
though,
hard,
right?
yeah,
It's
like,
true.
you work hard, you do a good job, you take pride in your work, you follow the rules, you show up on time. It's crazy how much work you'll get. if
Everything
you-
else will fall into place.
Fucking A, man. Dude.
Everything else. man.
So
Hey, you
before
got
It's not a
working
life
perspectives,
lesson
you
for
know?
everyone.
Exactly.
That's
Hey,
a
man.
working perspective. How
Hey,
about it?
that's the fucking work. Hey, man, that is the working perspective. We preach that on here big time. So
Yeah, well, that's
no,
what
You
I'm
hear
saying.
that, J-Dub? You piece of shit.
I mean, look, not everybody wants
Yeah,
to
no,
get
no
up
more
and
eating
do
Cheetos
stuff.
in the bed, man. While you're
No
on
more
fucking work
puffed
calls.
Cheetos, you piece of shit.
yeah.
Dude, I worked manual labor from fucking 8 to 19. All right. I'm going to take a
8
couple
to
years.
9
off.
a.m.
8 years old to 19.
Yeah.
Dude,
None of you
I
end
was
up
on the
fucking-
real roof.
Yeah.
Dude.
None of you were laying tar at 7. All right.
yo, when you get an office job with PTO, I wouldn't,
Boils you.
I don't
It
want
eats
to,
your soul.
it'll definitely eat your fucking soul.
This dude is so
But-
obsessed with PTO. It's unbelievable.
Mike, do you have
it is
PTO?
unbelievable.
Do I give
No.
PTO?
Do you
I
have?
do, but it's not accrued PTO. It's just standard PTO.
Same. I don't have accrued either. It's standard, right? But Tom works in an industry where he can't have PTO because if he
What
doesn't
about
work,
what about
he doesn't get paid.
TPO roofs? Do you do TPO roofs for companies?
What's
Yeah,
that?
sure. Why?
Yeah,
TPO.
thermal.
It's like a rubber roof.
You
Oh.
can put grass
it's
on it.
just white.
All the
No,
highlight.
no, that's not what TPO is.
Well,
TPO
no,
is
but
the white roof.
people put the turf on top. Like all the nice new buildings are getting this TPO on the top, and they put like grass on top, and they grow to go green.
Oh, I
or
didn't know
whatever.
you had a
Yeah, to
fucking
go
roofing
green.
company all of a sudden, Tom. That's great. Fucking
I was
A.
talking to a roofer today, and I said, "What do I ask someone that does roofs? What should I ask him?" He said, "Ask him about TPO." I put TPO with blah blah. I'm like, "All right,
I might need a
TPO
roof
it is."
soon. What up, Mike? I'm going to hit you up in a little bit.
Yeah,
Since all
you
these
should.
new
Top eight
buildings are
roofing,
putting
If-
TPO in. TPO, it's
If
green.
anyone would
nah,
like,
TPO is white. They
But
might.
not,
they
not
might
the
plan
color.
for-
Not the color. I meant like going
you're-
green.
yeah, oh, you mean like going green? Yeah.
yeah.
No, but TPO is like a white. I don't know. It's a plastic roof essentially. You know what I mean? It's for commercial use only. You know what I mean? Very rarely do you see it in a residential space. EPDM's black, TPO's white.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, if
It's a-
anyone
it's
is
big
looking,
sheet goods.
yeah. If anyone's looking for the best roofing or construction or anything like that, or blue collar builders, there will be links in the description. So I highly recommend you check it out. I mean,
Yeah, it's
just-
we
yeah.
do mostly residential roofs. My roofing company is shingles.
yeah. Tom had
For all
shingles
intents and
once.
purposes.
I
Yeah.
did have shingles before.
Yeah.
You had
yeah.
shingles?
When I
Yeah.
was a
Yeah, it's a-
kid, that's how they knew I got chicken pox.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had
May,
shingles later, and she was quite a sassy girl, wasn't she?
Mhm. Yeah.
What about? I've heard about these 3D shingles now. Is that something like 3D shingles?
The
Is that-
architectural shingles and stuff.
Yeah,
What the fuck is that?
my cousin was telling me. Fahey was telling me all about these fucking 3D shingles. Everyone's doing 3D shingles.
Who? Eddie Fay?
Oh, architectural.
Yeah.
Architectural shingles. Yeah.
What
Architectural shingles. It's just a type of shingle.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
when everybody's getting on the roofs anymore.
That's what
Yeah.
they
I mean,
did
we don't
now.
put down 3-tab shingles now anymore.
Oh, really?
But- yeah, no.
The shingle game has like evolved.
I mean, not really. I mean,
Still the same
I mean, I don't
concept.
want to put your buddy down, but I mean, that's
Uh-huh.
what everybody's been doing since like 2000 and like I don't know, 2006 or 2007. Everybody's had architectural shingles. That's pretty much standard anymore.
No one does
You know,
slate. huh?
nobody's put.
Anybody still do
No.
terracotta?
I mean, like in terms of 3-tab shingles versus architectural shingles.
Yeah.
No, you're not
Sure.
putting-
Slate-
Yeah, of course.
Slate's not a shingle,
course.
right?
Yeah,
Slate's-
right.
You know what I
No.
had?
No, guys, come on.
I had a
man.
like my front porch. I had like a porch build or whatever, right? And so
Fucking humble brag.
I wanted to have the shingles match the ones I already had, which are I guess older shingles. And I was like, well, just put whatever the fuck is on the roof. You know what I mean? Same thing,
Yeah.
match it. I don't know.
And he
And
was
he's
like,
like, well,
they
they're
don't make
doing
them
3D
anymore.
shingles now. And I was like, well, when I got to replace the roof, I'll replace all of them. Just match what's up there now. So that's why I guess he was telling me 3D. I didn't know, whatever.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I forget what else did you want to talk about? There was
So,
like I mean, there's lots of stuff I can't talk about, but
Yeah. No. So, well,
That's what we want to talk about.
we've
That's what I
kind
would
of,
like to talk
we
about.
kind of,
Michael
we're
Johnson, who's your favorite sprinter of all time?
yeah, right. Me, obviously.
Michael
You
Johnson.
fucking prick. What the fuck?
Gotta be
I
his
actually
favorite
paid him-
sprinter of all time.
Did you
is Michael
have
Jackson.
like the gold Nike
the gold
shoes?
shoes?
The gold shoe, the gold
Nah, I
shoes.
didn't have anything. I was a Dickies,
has gold
or
shoes?
you know, like Dickies and Vans guy. You know,
Oh yeah, man. Everybody
all
was.
motocross.
Remember
gear and
Etnies? Did you have Etnies back in the
Ah,
day?
Etnies.
I had
and
some
DC,
fucking
man.
Etnies and some DCs.
Fox
John
Racing gear.
Cardiel 2s. Oh, you must have been
Yeah.
fucking dripping in Fox Racing gear. You kidding me?
Oh my god, yeah,
Were
back
you
in the high school.
sponsored when you were racing?
yeah. I was sponsored by Monster Energy Drink. I was part of the Monster Army and stuff.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, they used to send me cases of Monster and all sorts of good stuff.
Dude, I remember
like
I had a
bags.
Do you drink
and-
that? Do you
yeah.
still drink Monster Energy drink?
Nah, I like Red Bull, honestly.
dude.
What is it?
I-
Red Bull?
Red,
Yeah.
Red Bull. I like
Yeah, it
Red
gives you
Bull.
wings.
Monster fucking gets me, dude. I'm like,
Ugh.
damn, this is too much.
Yeah.
Monster.
I
Yeah.
haven't- what about the bangs? Have you had the bang energy drinks? People
Who,
fuck-
me?
Yeah.
I try to live pretty healthy, man. I try to
Yeah.
stick to water and whiskey.
Doesn't even eat
whiskey and
Cheetos.
water.
Me and
Yeah.
you, buddy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Justin,
Gosh,
you're
it's
living
very-
fucking. You're
Living
living
clean.
proof. Yeah,
None of
you're
that
living
caffeine
proof of
nonsense.
Healthy. Yeah, you're just a fucking health magnet. You are.
I don't
Justin.
need anything to
trying.
get up. I just
Yeah,
gotta take
I
a bunch of
got-
stuff to get back down.
Is that because you're a bachelor?
start
and you're
doing
like,
the
I
whole-
want to look good. You know, I'm eating clean, or like, were you always clean living?
Oh, me or JR?
You.
Oh yeah, always. Like I didn't start partying or drinking or doing anything till after my fight career.
Yeah, yeah, dude.
Like,
I'll tell you what.
nothing.
Yeah,
No,
I've-
no crazy, none of that crazy, none of that crazy stuff until I mean, like I said, when I went through my divorce, man, it was
Yeah, a little rough.
bad
patches.
news,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, like I said, rough paper. I went to the in a bad way. You know, like I said, I was working. I gave up fighting.
Yeah.
I was raising the kids, building
Yeah.
bikes,
Yeah.
building Harleys. Riding with club guys down South Philly, and when shit hit the fan, it was like I wasn't no fighting. Well, not fighting in the cage anymore, I should say. I stopped training for a year or two. I started my business up, and I was just going just like tunnel vision for just angry at the world,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, you had some aggression. You didn't have an avenue of where to release it, and then you started going to the gym and uppercutting people, and
Yeah,
things
yeah.
worked
Well,
out.
I came back to it. It's a couple years later, but yeah, there was a couple years. I just started going out and hanging out. And then next thing you know, everything is bar fights and
Yeah,
all sorts of stuff.
yeah. You grow
But
out
I'm
of
saying
that
you've
shit, though.
always eaten somewhat healthy. You never were like I'm gonna eat pizza and hoagie.
Yeah.
I'm
I
eating
mean,
snack-
up until like the last, I would say 2 years. I'm
Yeah.
36. Like, and I'm paying for it now. Like I was up, 5 o'clock this morning, went to the gym. I started back on that routine again.
Nice.
So
Yo, so when you're
started,
at the gym, I was at the gym this morning, and there's this guy I don't even fucking know. I never met him, never said a word to him.
you want to
in my
hit
life.
him. No.
I'm at the gym. He
Yeah.
walks in and I see him there all the time. And I go, this fucking douchebag. That's the first thing I thought. I'm like, I don't even know this guy. I don't even
Yeah.
know this
Yeah.
guy.
Oh, all the time. But then you see like all these girls walking around, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? All the squat racks are taken up because they're doing all the squats. Then they're doing those hip fucking thrust fucking things, dude. I mean, it's
You know what?
like,
You know what I did? I bought a fucking I bought a squat rack for my office. I got a big warehouse over in North Wales,
yeah,
and I bought like one of those. It's like a squat rack, and it's a PRX system. I don't know if you're
yeah,
familiar.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
folds off the wall and stuff. I used it for like a few months. I gotta tell you.
No,
I mean, it's great. I just can't keep myself motivated to keep doing
Oh,
it, and I
fucking-
don't want to go to work at 5 in the morning.
yeah,
So I started right now. I'm in this kick where I'm trying to go to the gym. It was great because you never have to wait on a squat rack. You don't
yeah,
have to ever wait for bench. You don't have
yeah.
to ever wait for any of that stuff. But then this morning I started over at that LA Fitness over in Montgomeryville,
Yeah.
and I'm like, same deal. I mean, it's 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, why is there so many people here? I'm
Dude.
thinking I'm beating the crowds.
Yeah. And the
You see that
chicks
one
there,
guy?
oh,
I got up
Dude.
early, went to the gym. No, I'm just kidding. I just showered today. I was proud of myself. That's all. You know,
That's
Just got
puff
up and
Cheetos.
showered.
That's
Dude.
puff Cheetos right there.
It's gonna
Dude.
turn into a
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you, you say that, but Justin is surprisingly like a really good athlete.
I
Right.
was, yeah.
Like he would. So Rich used to have 2 locations for the gym. There was one in Hatfield, the one we go to, and then there was another one he had in Norristown, like on Ridge and I guess like Valley Forge Road, like right
Yeah.
around there. And I used to have to teach the boxing class there, and Justin would come there and train. Dude, I'll tell you, like
you strange. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he was
Yeah.
surprisingly fast, I would say.
I
Very
haven't done
surprised.
anything for 2 years during the pandemic. I've done nothing. And my buddy owns Keystone Sports up on 309. And I was over there the other weekend.
Okay.
We were running fly routes and I was exhausted after.
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah. After 47 seconds, I was exhausted. I finally hung the pull-up bar. I was like, I have to start doing stuff.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can jump rope. You can
We're
do
gonna
that
get
stuff.
there. Oh, I can.
Jumping
Yeah, I can
rope's
jump
the
rope.
best, dude.
Dude,
Jumping rope's the best.
when we've had one. Justin's been here for Padilla, Aaron Rosenthal, John Dorito, Chad Kilhefner. Now he was at the Henzo Gracie Roundtable last week, right? And each time Justin has said, "I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna start training. I want to start training."
I
Each
get all
time,
fired up.
I mean,
every
they
Tuesday.
got my nickname is No Show. Like we're in a group chat. There's like 30 of us, and they got me nicknamed No Show because I don't show up ever. And it's like, and mostly because of work. Honestly,
Right,
it's not because.
right.
But I do get it. I mean, it's getting. I mean, I'm going on 17 years. It's like well,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
Wear and tear. Yo,
I just
Mike,
want
I'm
to go
sure.
like beat people up and then leave. I don't want to like sit through
Yo,
class.
I'm sure we gotta let you go soon because you've got to get up at 5 or whatever for work and
I'm getting up before you.
yeah. So, but I did have a question. I'm curious because
I
I
got up at
see like
3:30. No big deal.
with a lot of contractors and whatever like that. Have you ever had anything worth you owning your own company, especially stolen from you at one
Ooh,
job
great
sites
question.
from like employees or anything like that? As far as like
Touchy subject, man.
I'm sure it is.
Wow.
But I know it's happened a lot. Is it?
Well, isn't now too? It's impossible to get materials now, right? Like wood and all that.
and how has the
Isn't it really
pandemic
tough?
affected you with material costs and everything?
Look, man,
Going-
there's always work for the guys that want it. I tell
Yeah.
you, I
Really?
preach this stuff. I preach this stuff all day, every day, dude. If there's, if somebody else is getting something, I can get it too.
True.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
It's
my
just,
thing is,
did you look? Did
with
sometimes you
contractors
got to move milk to
especially-
get to the eggs. You know,
Ah,
you gotta put some
I
effort in.
love that. Sometimes you
was that
gotta
again?
move milk to get to the eggs. I
You
fucking
know, you gotta
love
fucking put a
that.
little work in.
Dude, that's fucking awesome. I love. I'm gonna start
you
using
gotta-
that.
you just get lazy people, man.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But
And with
yeah.
that, you get lazy people that don't want to work, that don't want to go buy their own tools, so they take mine.
yeah.
so you've had your
shut the
tools
fuck-
stolen.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm still working out that bug.
Ooh.
Unfortunately.
Oh,
Well,
sorry,
dude,
Mike.
like,
Yeah.
cause,
I don't want to get you fired up. I just
Well,
I
no, but,
know
like-
everyone
but like,
has contractors especially
Oh.
always like, but my tool like shit in their truck, the shit on a site, whatever. Like they show up and it's gone, and it's like now they hunting down this.
Especially we
crackhead.
work all over the city, center city,
Yeah.
West Philly, South Philly. We're all over the place. I've had all sorts of shit stolen from job sites. I've had, to be honest with you, the worst thieves are your own employees.
your own employees,
really,
right? They're on some
really.
shit,
Yeah.
and then they're like,
It's so hard, man. It's
Yeah.
getting easier as I get my business keeps growing.
you can spot them.
We're
You can
doing
spot them a mile away. You're like, no, not that.
nah. As my business is growing, the model changes a little bit, right? So I'm, instead of doing 10 small jobs, I'm doing 3 big ones, right? So now I have less tools all over the place. And instead of needing, if you're doing 10 jobs, you need 10 of that tool. If you're doing
Yeah.
3 jobs, you might need 10 of that tool, but they're only in 3 spots, and you got one foreman that's good paying
Yeah.
attention to making
Yeah.
sure it's all in there. If you're like, yo, listen, if I need 10 of that tool and I only have 6, that means that it's going from this job site to that job site. And guess what happens? Somebody goes, oh yeah, well, throw it in your car because you're going over to Johnny's job site tomorrow. So take it with you. And then when they do, they're like, oh, They never get out of the car. They're like, yeah. We did. They didn't end up using it, right? Or for whatever reason that day.
So yeah, man, fucking getting stuff stolen from your job and all that. It's a fucking biggest pain in the ass, but want to keep it moving. So before we get out of here, I just want one, like we said, in the description of this episode, we'll have the links to Blue Collar Builders. We'll have the links to Top Peak Roofing. I'm telling you, great stuff. If you need any contract work or anything like that, or any roofing, hit these guys up. You'll be very happy with what you get. But before we get out of here, Mike, is there anything you'd like to say to your adoring fan base before we take off?
No, man. Just keep after it, you know?
Yeah.
Keep working hard. Keep making a man money. Keep grinding, you know.
Nice. Love it. Hey, man.
Normal stuff.
We pledge allegiance to the grind, man. That's
it.
That's
you ain't
it.
kidding.
You know,
hard work. That's the only way.
Hey, you ain't kidding, man. That is the only way. Absolutely. And I know we're usually in agreement with this, Justin and Tom. I think you'd agree also. But Mike, if you'd be willing, we'd love to have you back on the show.
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
You
awesome.
were this was fucking awesome, dude. This is really, really good. And
really,
Mike, we're wondering if anyone ever is supposed to be on the show and they bail last minute, can we send you over to their house maybe to make sure that
we missed a big chunk of stories in my life, but I used to get paid to do that. Yeah.
Part two.
Dude,
yeah, I get some good stories for that too.
Nice.
But you know,
Mike, your stories were incredible, dude. Honestly, I was like, dude, this guy's incredible. This is awesome.
Yeah, you should have
See
your
what
own
Christian
show.
school can do.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, send your kids to private school.
Mike, I got a question. How many tattoos do you got?
My whole leg and this half of my body.
So you don't you've lost count, I guess, or
yeah,
is it just like sleeves?
It's all continuous, you know.
But I saw on the one hand there was something. I just didn't know what it said.
This one says work, and this one says hard work. Hard
work.
That's fucking badass.
That's good in two ways, because it's like work hard, you know, it's your thing, but then you're gonna get hard work with these hands here, right?
Yeah.
I've
no
never had
puffed
anybody
Cheetos with
complain
these.
about it.
Nice.
I haven't, yeah. You know,
J-Dub kisses his butt.
It's you know, we used to have a joke. We used to joke around. My buddy's got a tattoo on his when we got our hands done at the same time. It was years and years ago, and his say "don't care," and I said, I don't know if I would do that if I was being a carpenter. And
where do you put the apostrophe?
in between the knuckles.
He goes, no. I'm like, just think about it. You're doing crown molding in somebody's kitchen. You know, which guy do you want?
Care.
Yeah, you know, which guy do you want?
I want the guy that says hard work.
Yeah.
I don't want the guy that says don't care. It's like, all right, we're between these two guys. I got the one guy, and okay, the hands say hard work. The other one says don't care. Who do I want in my house?
Yeah.
Toss a coin.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you to my chef. What's his tattoo say? It says "don't wash" on his knuckles.
yeah.
But he's a great chef. He just doesn't wash his hands.
Just says raw food. What?
Yeah, raw food.
Nice.
One hand says Sal, the other one says Manila.
Yeah. Nice. So okay, cool. So yeah, like we said, please check out the links in the description for Blue Collar Builders and Top Peak Roofing. Tom, before we get out of here, anything you want to say to the legions of your adoring fans before we take off?
Hard work, brother. That's it. Hard work. Me and Mike's got me fired up. I'm ready to go out. I'm gonna hit the gym tomorrow. I'm gonna do my shit. Let's go, Mike.
Are you gonna confront the douchebag at the gym?
You know what? Next time that douchebag at the gym sees me, guess what I'll be carrying? Probably my cell phone. And some earplugs, something like that.
Yeah.
But
when
I look at him, he's gonna get an evil eye, a real evil eye.
What if you walked up to that guy, right? And turns out that you have everything in common, super good dude, and you just could you get
you just
past
misjudged him altogether?
Yeah.
Guys, look, I learned a long time ago. I judge a book by its cover. I hate to say it. I do judge a book by its cover. Sure. And it's not just necessarily the way someone looks. It's the way they carry themselves, the way they treat me, the way they treat other people. I can see, I've seen this guy at the gym for long enough to know he is in fact a douchebag. Okay, I know it. I see him. I don't like him. All
Yeah,
right,
the way
you
whatever his
tell.
name is.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think you should just let him know.
He was doing tricep extensions
I
the
should be
other
like,
day and
"Hey,
like a
bud,
real piece of
Guess
shit.
what? You're a douchebag. Guess what? Everyone knows
Yeah.
it. You're a douchebag.
Yeah,
All
fan of
we
the
can
show.
all
Yeah,
Oh,
listen,
show.
I've been watching you for a few weeks. You should start out with that.
No, this is years. This is years, Mike. I've seen him for a couple years. In that
I've
gym.
been watching you
Years.
for a couple years.
Yeah.
You know what? I just want to give you a piece of my mind.
yeah. I just wanted to
Listen,
let
he
you know.
leaves his shit like he owns the fucking spot. You know what I mean? Like, oh, his water bottle and his towels there. This is his area. Like he owns this
Oh,
spot.
he is a
Okay.
fucking
All right,
douchebag.
bro. It's Planet Fitness, Pop. Watch out. You know what I mean?
Is it a Planet Fitness?
Hell yeah.
Have you ever been?
Do they
So,
say, do you drop the bells and the whistles go off or whatever?
No, I've never seen a lunk alarm. You know what? To be honest, they're probably like afraid to do that because it's like, well, why would I?
Oh.
But you know, I've seen some lady doing taekwondo shit. They used to
Yeah.
serve pizza there. They used to
Yeah.
serve pizza at the Planet
Where is
Fitness.
this? Where's this?
I was-
Fitness at?
they
I
do
was
pizza
leaving
at
one
every
day.
Planet Fitness.
I was leaving one day and I'm like, damn, I smell pizza. And then I look over and they had a wall full of pizzas, fresh pizzas. It was like free pizza Monday or something like that. I came back the next day. The next day I'm leaving, bagels, coffee, all in a shit like this. I was like, what is it? Ice cream Fridays? Like what, what's going on? I don't
Dude,
understand.
I'll tell you. So at Planet Fitness,
And that douchebag was there eating it all.
yeah, I'll tell you this: at Planet Fitness, everyone puts the weights back and everything like that. At LA Fitness, no one fucking does that. No one puts
Well-
anything back. Like the dumbbells, if you're looking for dumbbells, good luck. Good luck finding two of the same anywhere within.
Well, I
yeah.
signed up for LA Fitness last night. Jokes on you. It's called Esperana. Health or something.
Esperada. Yeah.
Esperada Health or something. So
Yeah.
maybe it's maybe they're revamping their ways.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I
go
don't
to the
do
ones
heavy
in-
weights no anymore. I'm not on heavy weights. You know,
I'm with you, man. Nothing over 225. It's like
Yeah.
I'm getting
Yeah,
yeah, me
you
too.
know,
225.
yeah.
That's
Same-
right. Yeah,
same here.
225 like
that bar
20
for everything,
times.
though,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
No, but
I'm not
seriously,
even-
I'm a high
listen,
rep.
I mean, like if you're doing squats, deadlifts, anything, like 225 is like, all right.
Yeah.
I don't mean, I used to do all that crazy heavyweight. It's like, yeah, dude, everything hurts anymore.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
yeah.
knees and my back can't take it anymore. It just,
Fuck no.
Yeah,
Um,
just
you
shoot
know,
them, dude.
yeah,
I know
Yeah, right.
yeah. I know
Who's
that
the fight?
yeah. I know that
Good time.
Esporta Fitness have heavy bags too, which is nice. What are you gonna
Yeah.
say, Justin?
No, he's saying just shoot him. I was like, yeah, there's no time for fighting nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
this-
hurts.
This
It
is all I
hurts
need to
too
lift
much.
right here.
Bing,
This
bing,
is-
bing, bing, bing.
Yeah, been lifting this pretty
Yeah.
good. I just did 10 reps
Yeah, I used to-
right here.
I used to love getting in fights. Now I'm like, nah, I just
Oh.
fucking need a lever, shoot you. That's why I got
Well, dude, when you were fighting full time, right? Did you get in fights when you were fighting full time? Because they would have thrown the fucking book at you, right?
Nah,
Like-
I mean, again, long story, but when I was going through my divorce, I ended up with 4 restraining orders on me from the affair E, if you
Yeah.
will. The
That'll
guy
happen.
that she was fucking. Long story short, the guy
oh, she was
fucking,
having an affair.
Dude, all
Wow.
right. So
she was an affair.
no matter
That
what
guy
happens,
fucking
you are
deserves it.
1,000% coming back on this show.
Dude,
I am
Dude, you
so
guys have no
the
idea.
longer
I
you
got
stay
all-
on, the more interest that I've got.
I'm
Dude,
telling
we
you,
I got-
wasted
this is
so much time in
incredible.
the beginning.
We wasted so much time on cheese.
We
puffs.
really
We
did,
wasted.
yeah.
We were talking about cheese puffs and God knows what. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So I ended up with 4 restraining orders on. They upped the
Hell
security at their wedding and stuff. Because what happened? was
Were you gonna
neighbors
crash the
across
wedding?
street-
Wait,
Might have.
she
No.
married
Might
the
have.
fucking guy?
No, so the neighbors across the street. So we lived in Delaware County,
Okay.
and beautiful Delaware County, big
Yeah,
state.
yeah,
Delco,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
Delco. Yeah.
Yeah, so we moved to Delco so I could fight professionally because I was closer to the city. It was a
Yeah.
shorter commute,
Yeah.
right? So I was living down there for a couple 4 years, and the neighbors across the street, they were engaged. And I'm going all the time, so of course I'm a piece of shit, right? All he does is work, and if he's not working, he's training. And I'm left here to drink wine and hang out with my girlfriends in the block and raise all the babies together, right? And they're like, what? That's great, that's horrible. He's what a piece of shit, right? So then the girl's like, you should meet this guy. He's they went to college together or whatever. And I guess while I was working over one weekend up in the Lansdale area, I stayed with one of my buddies, a union carpenter. I used to trim houses on the side as some of our side work. And so she went down the shore with the kids, and I went to work all weekend. And that's where they all got hooked up or whatever. And then there was an ongoing affair for a little while till these two people, our neighbors that were getting married, they were like our age. There was a big bachelorette party. My ex-wife used to fist fight all the time. I mean, she got thrown out like 3 of my professional fights. And I was in the bachelor party, like at the bachelor party. This is down in the Ocean City, Maryland. And all the girls were staying at somewhere else on the island or whatever. And they give us a call and they're like, listen, you got to come pick up your wife. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, she's not in the wedding no more. She's kicked out. She beat the shit out of the bride. Long story short, what happened is, I don't know what happened between her and the girl, the bride, but the bride essentially, they were all drinking and drunk, and essentially said, hey, I just got off the phone with Mike, because I guess she overheard my wife at the time talking shit, and she came in. She was like, I just got off the phone with Mike, like insinuating I'm telling her about your affair, right? And my ex-wife beat the hell out of her. I mean, bad. So they had to postpone the wedding. Well, between that time and when the wedding was, I get a call. I'm at the King of Prussia Mall building a mall store. I'm running a store at the mall. And I get a call, and I'm like, all right, this is my neighbor, the guy. And he's like, I can't do it anymore. I got to tell you what's going on, blah, blah, blah. So he rats my wife out. He's like, yeah, she's, his fiance, her name's Missy. Missy, Missy hooked her up with this guy, and like they've been running around behind your back for like however long. And I'm like, okay, what I mean, like, was a little off guard, but I mean, we weren't like the happiest couple, but we were still married with 2 kids and stuff. You go through your hell, and I swear to God, I was like, yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? You always think about that when you're married. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna catch him, right? And then I don't have to pay no child support. This is every guy. Yeah, no child support. I'm gonna catch him, dude. I pulled up to the house. First of all, I was coming down Route 70, 76, going towards Delco. Pulled over to the side of the road, had to throw up. I threw up like this on my way home. I had to throw up. And if I could get down there, I pull into the apartment complex next to where our condos are. We live on a cul-de-sac, and I pull and I call my dad. I have a flip phone, right? I got my flip phone. I call my old man up, and I'm like, I'm just talking to him like, dude, I thought this is what I heard today. I was gonna come home. I was gonna play cool. I was gonna try to like catch her, take pictures, whatever, all this stuff. I could do it. Couldn't hold it together, right? I'm talking to my dad. As my dad's like, all right, we'll relax. And I'm like, all sorts of emotions, up and down, whatever.
Yeah.
And my dad's going, all right, man. I said, you know what? I said, if you don't hear from me in an hour, just call the police. And he says, he said, Mike, I wouldn't do that. Why don't you just calm down? As soon as you know how it goes. As soon as somebody tells you to calm down. I think at this time I was 25 years old. I was like, I was in the middle of my fight career. I still was fighting. I think I had 3 more fights after this.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I'm still training. I'm in good shape. I'm like, he's like, yeah, why don't you just come down? I'm like, don't tell me to calm down. My parents been married for 45 years. Okay. So I'm like, don't tell me to calm down. Your wife, my mother was a sucker. Some other guy's dick. Don't tell me to calm down. You know what I mean? Like, I got 2 kids upstairs. I'm ready to go kill somebody. Right.
Yeah.
And like, I'm screaming. I hang up. I go straight up into the house, and I'm like, it's just a little 2-bedroom condo. And I went up, and the kids are, adolescents, and I'm like, go outside and play. They're like, Mom just told us to clean our room. I'm like, yeah, nah, it's all right. Go outside and play. Shut the door, lock the door. And I told her, I said, sit down. And she went over, and she sat down at the kitchen table, and I went and sat on the other side of the table, and I took my, I carry a gun. And I took my gun out and put it on the table. And I just sat there. We just stared at each other for about probably 2 minutes, realistically. But the longest 2 minutes of either one of our lives. And she just sat there with her hands in her face. Like we didn't even say one word about the whole ordeal. Like she just was like, ah, shit, you know. And I'm like, I'm like, and I just looked at her like, go ahead and lie to me. We didn't even talk about anything yet. I just literally said there, go ahead, lie to me. I want you to lie to me. Like I was so irate. Like, I mean, oh man. And then so things got out of control. She would run out in the street. I went across to the neighbor's house. I got those guys, told them like, you know, listen, you know, they were like calling the cops and stuff. I'm running around waving a gun. You know, I'm out there screaming and yelling. It was a big white trash fiasco. And you know, I told these guys, you know, they were locking their doors, all that stuff. I call them on the phone. I'm like, listen, you know, I don't want you parking out front of your house. I don't want to see your car. I want to see your face. I don't want to see your fucking kid. I don't want to see anybody in this neighborhood again. You know, I mean, like, you know, you knew about this. Like, yeah, you told me, but you knew about this the whole time. Yeah. And you didn't tell me near soon enough. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you're letting this shit happen while I'm slaving away.
Set it up.
Yeah. It's not like you're out. Yeah. It's not like you're a piece of shit out drinking, out gambling, out missing. Like you're out fucking doing construction or fighting.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, look, I mean,
no one's a saint, but
keeping you here.
No one's a saint, but you're
the neighbors set it up. They set her up with them. They set her up.
Yeah.
She was weird.
Well,
like,
hey,
the husband had
day.
to know from the jump.
Right? This is another day. Who's the day? What do you mean day? You're part of the day, man. Like he's like, no. My fiance set her up, right? Not me. I didn't set her up, right? You know, that's what the guys tell me, you know. Yeah. And I'm not saying that to be like, you know, like I was perfect or something, but you know, like you said, you know, I was working. Right? I'm 25 years. I mean, what do you know at 25? You know.
Also, right, had you not been working, her number one complaint would have been like, you don't have any money, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How about, especially since she was on a free ride.
Yeah, you're paying for her fucking nursing.
Her to go to nursing school, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild, man.
How can she fucking do that? Like, how awful, like, I mean, whatever. I don't know your ex-wife, and I don't want to say anything about it, you know, but damn, man, that's a tough fucking paper route, brother.
So that's when I gave up fighting, bro. I gave up fighting because we went to marriage counseling. So long story short, you know, I got all these restraining orders. They nixed the wedding. No, they didn't nix it. They upped security. They pushed it back because the girl had black eyes and shit. So like my ex-wife like fucked her up bad. So they had to move the wedding date. They moved out in like the middle of the night. They didn't tell nobody. They had the movers come like the middle of the night in the back. And we didn't, I've never seen him since that day. I saw him at court, but after that, I didn't see him after that. And to answer your question, they threw the book at me in court, or they tried. And for being a professional fighter and stuff, that stuff. But
it's not like we went the history of like you know,
No, they were just like, he was threatening us and like, you know, he's scary and like he's got, you know, he's a professional fighter.
And you're like, hey, you fucking hid an affair with my wife and some fucking stunad, you know, you know, like, and you fucking didn't.
That dude lives in Harrisburg and he got a restraining order.
You'd be like, let the court show that I am intimidating and scary and was a professional fighter. You can't put all that down.
Write it all down.
And she still fucking did that. Yeah.
Oh well, dude, it gets better. We go to marriage counseling, right there. We go to marriage counseling. The marriage counselor says, you know, normal stuff like, what do you want?
So you were still like, you loved her that much that you were still willing to work on the dude. You're a fucking strong dude, man.
Yeah, you got to, man. You got to.
And did you have like the kids in mind for the kids? Was it?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, it's you know how it goes, man. Like, look, we were young, right? We were like 19. We got together. We were two.
I was going to say that when you got married, you were really young. You were really young. If I married the girl I was with when I was 21.
Fucking God. I thank God I didn't marry the girl I was with.
And not that she isn't a nice girl, but we aren't. It wasn't for us.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, wait, you got divorced?
No.
No.
I'm saying if I had married her.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I
So-
can't like, and I don't like hate her or anything like that, but like it would not have worked out
Yeah.
well.
I
Oh,
was
Yeah.
with a girlfriend.
I hate my ex. Nah, I'm
Well,
looking. We're
we
pretty
didn't
good
get to
friends.
that level of, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It was
yeah.
over before it got.
Oh
to
man, it got way worse before it got better. Yeah, so we left. So we went to marriage counseling, right? I'm still fighting. It had to be, it had to be right there at the end because I remember we were in marriage counseling, and I had my last pro fight was like somewhere short after that. We're going to marriage counseling, and part of the thing was, what do you want? And what does she want? Right. And what did she want was, I want my husband to give up the career, the fighting career, like give up the dream. Right. Because I wanted to be a world champion the whole night. Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, I was with the lack of support and all this other stuff. I had I lost a couple of fights there at the end, and it was just like, all right, it wasn't going my way, whatever. And so I was like, okay, whatever. So I quit fighting. I my last professional fight, I dropped the guy with a body shot.
Love it.
And I got robbed of that fight, honestly, in all reality. But damn mercifully, I stopped it because of I had a giant gash in my eye. But nevertheless, so I had already was like in a bad mental space where I was like, this is bullshit, another robbery. And so she was like, I wanted to quit fight. So I did. I stopped completely, cold turkey. Cut it shot. And so the what is it called? The counselor was like, listen, we're there in the counselor, and the counselor's like, well, you asked him to do this, and he did, and you asked him to do that, and he did. Like, she's like, yeah, well, he doesn't want to. Well, and the counselor's like, being the normal level-headed guy, was like, well, I mean, nobody would want to give up their hopes and dreams, but the fact still remains that he did it.
Yeah. For
at
you.
at your wish.
Yeah.
Yeah. You asked, and he did it. So you can't really keep holding all this resentment towards him, right? Meanwhile, this bitch is fucking still sleeping with half the neighborhood, and I didn't even know it. And like,
Dude.
so yeah, so
I'm
so we
sorry,
had some
man.
pretty fun times.
she must have been great in bed though. I mean, she must have been incredible, right?
Mom, the mom, your kid, you love your life when you're like 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been divorced for almost a decade, so it's not that big a deal to me anymore.
Plus, too, like you're
But-
in that when
but-
you're at that age, right? Like
Yeah.
dude, I'll tell you this. I remember the first girl that would have sex with me consistently. I thought I was going to marry that girl. Thank
Yeah.
God I did
Well,
not.
once you have kids with them, then you know what I mean. Like my parents, I didn't come from a broken home, so my parents
Yeah.
are still together to this day. They're
Yeah.
going on 40-something years, and so I got that that
Yeah.
fighter mentality. I want to
Yeah.
fight to keep it working. And all that
Yeah.
stuff. And so she used to booze up with all the girls on the block, right? I mean, so we would literally, I'd be up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, getting ready to go to the city to work. And she would say it was a Thursday night. It's Friday morning, right? Thursday night. She'd be out boozing. And I'd say, yeah, listen, babe, can you come home at 1 o'clock in the morning? Like that's a fair compromise. I can't really sleep until you get home. And I'd like to get a couple hours of sleep before I'm going off to work. She'd say, yeah. She would come home till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, the times that it was like 3, like, well, what are you doing between 2 and 3? We live, in a less than a mile radius of every bar under the sun here. And so, like, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Delaware County, but like, there's another dive bar down there that I ended up kicking the door in and dragging my wife out to bring her back home. Like, it was pretty.
What's the name of the bar?
Dino's. It burnt down. It was on
Yeah.
McDade Boulevard.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
You know where it is?
McDade Boulevard. I mean,
I know
You know
McDade
McDade, you know?
Boulevard, but
Yeah, Dino's bar.
There's a
right in,
place.
like, Congo.
What do I know? Like the Crossbar. What's
Haggerty's.
Haggerty's. Ooh, yeah,
That's where my girl's from. Like that. Her and her sister are always down there.
Oh, you doing Dirty
Yikes.
Nellies?
I'm not from there. They're from there.
Oh.
Dirty Delco.
well,
Well,
Mike,
I used to collect
yeah.
for a bookie down there and used to
Yeah.
get all sorts of trash.
Down there, Folsom.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Good times,
So, all right. Well, Mike, thanks for sharing that, pal. Sorry you had to relive that, buddy, but fucking A. Jesus Christ.
I mean, it makes for good stories, right?
yeah.
Mike,
Right?
it definitely is a good story.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel bad that you had to tell it, but
Yeah.
was very interesting.
Yeah.
Like I
Well,
said, I don't care. I mean, her cool now. She's got a kid, and she got a kid, and she's a great mom, and she,
Someone
that's all-
else's problem now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, once it's all done in a way, then
Yeah.
once you don't care no more, and the money's all situated, then it's easy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Then it's all about the kids and just making sure the kids are getting raised right and all that
Yeah.
jazz. As a matter of fact, I go over there. They live 5 minutes up the street, and I go over there and hold her, get my baby fixed with her new baby and her man. And her new man says he's cool shit. So
Nice.
that's why I can tell a story. What I'm saying is like, it's nothing anymore. Now just good stories,
Yeah. But
That's good.
so, well, thanks for sharing that, Mike. And dude, I can't wait to hear more stories like that the next time you're on. It's gonna be fucking killer.
man. Let me
J-Dub.
know.
Yeah, of course, man. J-Dub, before we get out of here, anything you want to say to the Dubinators before we take off?
This was awesome.
This was
You're great,
fucking-
Mike.
This, I'll tell
Thanks,
you,
bro.
this was a fucking killer show. Honestly, Mike, after our pre-show meeting, I even said, I was like, this is gonna be fucking good. And we really like we didn't do like the cliff notes, but like, we didn't fucking really dig in to a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But
There's a
dude,
lot more to like it's but
Yeah,
whatever.
Bookie, like
You guys
I
wanna
like,
hear it
yeah.
sometime,
I'm a
I'll
big
tell
fan
you.
of bookie collectors. I know a couple guys who used to do it for like,
Do it.
Bookie
some
collecting
guys
round table.
that you didn't want to owe money to, and that's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
I got some good stories with some of these guys with collecting and stuff. I used to
Yeah.
take my buddies on the ride. Yeah, come with me.
It's
Where we
so
going?
fun
Don't
how
worry about it.
all you
just
gotta do is
come.
knock on a door, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, you're here? I have it."
Mhm.
You know how many times
Yeah.
you don't have to do anything?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't have too many of those,
yeah.
but I wish I
Oh
did.
man.
It's
Yeah.
it makes
Well,
it one more.
Yeah, no, well, we'll get that on the next time
Yeah.
for sure.
Next time we'll
Yeah.
talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
bookie
yeah.
collecting.
So,
Yeah.
we're coming to the top of time.
Hey Mike, stay safe, brother. Stay out
Yo,
of
listen,
trouble.
I go to work every day now. I mean,
Oh,
I always
man,
went to work
keep
every day,
working.
but
Keep
Yeah.
working.
Yeah,
you
man,
know,
Work
hard work,
hard, Mike.
hard
hard
work.
work, baby, hard work.
Nice. So we're coming to the top of time. This has been another episode of the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied by Jalen Dub, Justin Richardson, the terrific Tom Lavelle, and our guest today is the fucking man and the fucking myth, Mike fucking Johnson. You can find all our content and all our stuff on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can hang out with us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast. And you can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And please, for the love of God, I don't want to go through a divorce like Mike, so please like and subscribe so my wife stays with me and I can keep doing the show. This has been another episode of the Working Perspectives Podcast. Thanks for listening. Stick around for the ad read. Thanks. See ya. Do you have a message or a story inside of you that you've been waiting to tell? Have you always dreamed of writing a book but are intimidated by the complexities of the book publishing world? Perhaps you want to use a book to launch your public speaking or consulting career. If so, please reach out to Scott and Bell Publishing, located right here in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Scott and Bell Publishing handle all genres and authors with all experience levels. Scott and Bell Publishing gives authors 100% creative freedom and a higher royalty split. They can be found at www.skotbell.com. That's www.s as in Sam, K as in kite, O as in October, T as in Tom, B as in boy, E as in Edward, L as in Larry, L as in Larry.com. That's Scott and Bell Publishing, where the authors go.